Do 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 do. Oh, hello. Wrong thing. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hello, storytellers. Welcome to another Isaac Cinnamon stream. I am a little bit late. I apologize. I was trying to share this on Instagram, and you know how it is, how those things take time. How was everyone's weekend? I had a very eventful weekend, as I talked about before. I had my last track meet of the season, so other than a few things here and there, basically running is done for the season. And I just realized that my lights are not on. My pretty lights. Oh my goodness, we are off to quite a start. Boom. And wait for it. Boom. Oh, so much nicer. You know, the program I'm using, OBS, really decided that it wanted to not be nice to me today and kind of take all of my assets and everything, and like, I don't know where it is anymore. But that is neither here nor there. Hope you also had a good weekend. I will tell you what, we were in Florida this weekend, Lakeland, Florida, and every single day it was like 90 degrees. Like, it was so stinking hot. And I'm really glad that I don't live in Florida. Now, I do live in the South, so it still gets hot, and it will get that hot this summer, but like, still in April, like, I know global warming is like coming for us all, but 90 in April and so humid and sluggish and just a really, really rough time. But other than that, it was, whoa, that was good. Other than that, it was a fine experience. I ran the 800 and I ran it twice, so I had like 2 half miles to run, which, in all honesty, it could have been a lot worse, because I've run a lot longer before, and running it in that heat would have been a sight. And some people did, so I'm kind of glad that that wasn't my fate for the weekend. But Blisk, is Blisk a word? I don't think so. But now that I'm saying it, I feel like it should be. Nope. Okay. All right. I hear you loud and clear. Bloss. Bliss. Ooh, I bet it's bliss. Let's go. 3, baby. Woo. Awesome. Success. Hold on. I gotta let the success sound play all the way through. We gotta feel our success. Awesome. Did you read anything? Did you watch anything this weekend that was inspiring to you? Why is this not working? Pardon? Oh, hello. Hi, Wordler. Yeah, that's me. Can I go to a different game now? Nope. I'm just stuck right here. Is there something wrong with the internet today? Okay, all good. Mini crossword. Let me... Oh, I can move you. It didn't want me to move that earlier either, so that was not fun. I am streaming, correct? Yes, okay. Mini crossword and mini music. Awesome. Yeah, the drive to Lakeland was like 6 hours. So that was a lot. Like steak tartare and carpaccio. Tired for wizards and judges robes, warm shade of yellowish orange amber. Most populous country in the Caribbean, Haiti. Messy room, so to speak, a pit. Noted feature of bakeries. Rabbit. Okay, I'm thinking pit is wrong now. But rabbit comes out of a hat. I thought I saw a putty tat. Tweety bird. I thought I taught a putty tad. Noted features of bakeries. Aromas. Hey. Nice. Let's go. That was really quick, 51 seconds. Robes, amber, Haiti. Yep, raw. Okay, like state tartare. I didn't know that's what that meant. Sty. Okay, like a pig sty. And then this was go team is raw and Sri Lanka. Could have gotten Sri Lanka. I knew that one. Yes, what we're going to do today is, as you can see, I'm kind of moving through these New York Times games. As always, I'll tell you about some movies I watched this weekend. But then we are going to spend a good chunk of today developing our show pilot that we are calling Soul Reader for now. And I'm excited to get into that. We're going to get into some deep dive on our characters. But first things first, got to get through these games here. Ladder, batter, suit, flatter. The flatter's not on there. I just kind of got into a rhyme there. Okay, ladder, batter, suit, candlestick, infield, rope, paste, pitcher, gemstone, mountain, plate, mixture, tree, dough, rhombus, placemat. Okay, so I'm seeing mixture and batter. I'm seeing dough, like cookie dough, cookie batter, cookie mixture kind of thing, or like baking sort of deals. I see plate, but I also see pitcher. That could be something. When I see paste, I think like copy and paste. I also think of like paste that you eat, though you probably shouldn't eat it. Rhombus is like a shape, right? That's like sort of thing. Infield, like in baseball. Oh, batter, like in baseball. Is a rhombus also like a diamond? Like a plate? There's plates in baseball and there's pitchers in baseball. Ooh, but I feel like that could be like the red herring, you know? But I do see those and I'm like, that could be baseball there. Let's see. I also, because I was staying in a hotel over the weekend in Lakeland, I had a really strange dream, but the strange dream also gave me an idea for like a character trait for our protagonist. But I had this really weird dream about like I was arguing with my parents or like fighting, and I don't fight with my parents a lot. It's not like a normal thing. I don't have like this pent up anger unless it's like really deep down or something. But I had a dream that my parents were like moving to, they said, we're moving to Germany. They said we are gonna move to Germany, our whole family. And I was like upset and mad at them and like yelling like, I don't want to move to Germany, you know. And I was literally thinking in my dream like, I'm gonna have to learn German to go with them. But thankfully it was just a dream, though I wouldn't mind German. There's nothing wrong with Germany that, you know, would make me specifically mad. I don't know what that was about. But rope, mountain, mixture. Hey, see, when I think of paste and placemat, okay, wait. I see something else here. I see tree and ladder are both things that you climb, along with a mountain and a rope. Those are all things that you can climb. Which leaves us with gemstone, suit, dough, placemat, candlestick, rhombus, and mixture. Which is not the most helpful. Gemstone, placemat, candlestick, and dang, those were kind of going together for me because of the double words. Rhombus. Don't know what that could be. I also should have gotten some water before I sat down. Maybe I'll get that later. Mixture. Rhombus is the only thing that also feels like it fits in that weird category, but then I don't know how suit, paste, and mixture go together. And dough. Like dough, paste, mixture, and suit? Let me try it. One away. Dang it. Would it be like... Could it be placemat? No, still one away. So I think this is rhombus. Oh, shoot. Okay, we're in trouble here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the ones that I think I know. So I think that's... No! Oh, man. No. Ugh. A loss. That is so sad. Cooking concoctions, batter, dough, mixture, and paste. I was kind of along that track. Scene on a table at a dinner party, candle, pitcher, placemat, plate, things to climb. I should have gone with that first. How is that the blue? And then what diamond can refer to? The gemstone, an infield, or rhombus. Or a suit. Dang, that was tough. That's discouraging. Okay, well, guess we gotta go to the strands. Enough licking our wounds. I've got you covered. Suit. No. Alright, what gets you covered? I'm thinking clothes immediately. Clothing line. Like, will cover you. Soot. There's some double L's happening here. And double T's. Otters. Otters. Oh, that's cute. Chet. You know, Chet's got you covered. Doll. Cans. Cans got you covered. You know what I'm saying? What's got you covered? Think. Toll. Tell. What covers you? Blanket. Wool, cloth. Bank account. They'll cover your losses. Bless. Sunday. Suns. Scratch. Scratch. Scan. Can. No. Tacos. Tacos got... I'm lost now. But we got taco. I've got you covered. Suit. Twins. I've got you covered. Taco. Is it like fast food? No, it would be Taco Bell if that were the case. Mars bars. Tortilla? Yeah, wait, there's gotta be tortilla here. I see the letters. Where's the connection? I need an R to connect. Yeah. Oh, wait, there's no I that connects there. Allah. Feels like tortilla is definitely something, even though... But I think I'm just going based off taco. Why is taco? I've got you covered. Less. Let. Toll. Twins. Wontons. Sweet. Dang it. That would have been good. All right, let's think outside of the box here. Taco, I've got you covered. Taco's got you covered. I've got you covered. In tacos? Taco Tuesday? Is it food related? Is taco just a fun word to say? Mad. Done. Nah. Alarm? Oh wait, alarm could be something. Except it doesn't, it doesn't work. Arms. Lettuce. What's got you covered? Soon? Loon. No. This should help this tacos, but it's not. Or maybe I'm just too blind to see the truth. I've got you covered. Taco. Suit. Is it gonna be one of those things where there's all these double letters and none of them actually like go together? Lars. Rum. Where's the rum gone? I am at a loss. I don't want to look, I don't want to cheat, I don't want to use a hint. We already lost the connections. That's shame enough. This is interesting, this like SSIOT going on here. Rotoscope. Mall. Sad. Sun. Lun. Okay, I'm not making any progress, which is not good. Ratchet. Dude, ratchet's such a good word. I know it doesn't relate to taco at all, but come on, give me something. Chance. Chut. What does it mean I've got you covered? Like snacks? Taught. Literally. This is literally insane. And the music stopped. Music, come back. Please, come back to me. Yay. If I can't get the answer, I might as well at least get the music. Hands. Hans. Chet. What is it? What is the word? I just need one of these words to help me so I can narrow down what it means. I've got you covered. Taco. Is it like food trucks? I don't see food or trucks or any other like food. Watcher. Oh boy. Dibba-dibba-doo. Lottery? No. Would have been nice. But it doesn't work. Slit. Suit. Why is suit like a thing? Suiton. Taco suit. Birthday suit. Oh, good grief. Sam. Scram. Tots. Tater tots. I'm gonna have to use a hint. Wand, like a magic wand. One more guess, and then I'll use a hint. One more good word. Rolex. All right, we're using a hint. Walnut. Okay, taco and walnut. Are they things where like the food is encased in like a shell? Like a shell type situation? Oh, wait, sorry. Hold on, I want this song. Is it like a shell situation? What else is in a shell? Crabs, lobsters, sunflowers, suns. Do we see shell on here? Yes, shells. That's the spanogram, is literally shells. Okay, armadillo, I see here. I just have to spell it correctly. Armadillo. Uncles have shells. No, nucleus. Okay. Nodal. There's still 2 words out of all these letters. Sutuan. I was really trying to get suit, but suit was not being nice to me. Let. Silt. What else has a shell? Let's think with our brains here for a second. Tortoise. There we go. Tortoise. Which means the last word is out of all of these letters. Nautilus. What is nautilus? Well, we did it, but we used a hint. Oh, that's a nautilus. Creepy. I guess success doesn't really feel that successful. We'll take a little look at our crossword. We're not gonna solve the whole thing because it's just too... Yeah, it's this... I spent over an hour the other day trying to like trial and error the crossword. It was just not happening, and I drove myself crazy trying to do it. So that's our New York Times for today. That's what we're doing with that. Which means we get to move on to our next line of discussion. Okay. What was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, I wanted to give a little preview of what we're doing in the future. Assuming I'm still streaming, I'm going to try to keep streaming. But yesterday I got to, we got a little weird like flare here happening. Cool. We got a little future planning going on as I registered yesterday for my classes for next quarter, which is cool. It's exciting. And how it works is like, I don't know how it works at other spots, other colleges or institutions or whatnot. But here we got our time ticket, and my time ticket was yesterday at like 6 a.m. So I had to wake up, early, get that done, and then go back to sleep. But that being said, sorry, I'm just trying to situate this here. That being said, I did register for some classes, and since this is a writing type stream scenario, we don't have to look too far into this yet because anything could change. But looking up here, next quarter, I am going to be taking Dramatic Writing 305, which is script analysis for film and TV, Dramatic Writing 272, which is Introduction to Playwriting, and Business 220, Business 2 Economic Principles. This is a foundations class. I already took Business 1, so I got to take this. And these two are my first two, well, not my first two writing classes, but my first two classes into my dramatic writing major, which is exciting. From what I understand, the 305 is like a big prerequisite for unlocking like all of these classes. So this is like a big deal of like, I think we go through a lot of history of film and TV and shows, and we read a lot of scripts. And then this one, based on what I read about the professor, essentially we're going to be writing a new play like every week, which is kind of nuts. That's a lot of writing, but I think it's going to make us better. So I just kind of wanted to shout that out because I think that's cool to stay up to date on what is going on with our class-wise. I did watch some movies this weekend just for the sake of keeping up to date. Or I should say I watched one movie in between last time and today that I'll talk to you about. And then the other movie I literally watched in my art history class before I did this. So the movie, drumroll please, that I watched the other day, oh, that's gonna be way too big. I could put that on screen, but then you guys would not see anything but that. There it is. The movie that I watched with my roommates the other night is a little movie called Gravity. And so I watched this, and let me tell you, it was a good time. It was a lot of fun. It's starring Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. And it is this like space movie. It's, you know, does a lot of crazy stuff with like physics, and the premise is basically they're doing this mission in space, and then they get like knocked off target by all this debris, and then Sandra Bullock and George Clooney basically have to figure out how they're going to get back to Earth. And anyways, it's a lot of cool visuals and whatnot. I wonder if I rated this yet on Letterboxd or not. I've been trying to like save it for the stream so that I could give a full review. I did not. Okay, perfect. That means we get to do it together. Yay. Aren't we so happy about that? But yeah, it was, I have watched a few spacey type movies over the past couple weeks. One being Interstellar, which I watched for the first time recently. Enjoyed that one. Not my favorite Nolan film, but I did really enjoy that. And then this one being a big one. Also, I know that Star Wars The Revenge of the Sith is out in theaters for a while now. But I think we should rate this movie. It was a good time. It wasn't the most, you know, groundbreaking emotionally, story-wise. Like, I think it was definitely leaning more on the end of like spectacle over the storytelling. However, the spectacle was cool enough to warrant it because it really just looked like they were filming out in space, even if not all of the physics made sense all the time. But as always, we shall give it our fair review and see what we got here. There we are. Review or log. Let's see. I watched this. When did I watch this? It was probably last Thursday. Yeah, I watched it after stream. Gravity. A tight 90-minute. Oh, I lost it all. A tight 90-minute sigh. Can you please, thank you. A tight 90-minute sci-fi adventure with George Clooney as a sarcastic spaceman. The visuals were stunning, and amazingly, despite everything going wrong, it really, really made me still want to go to space. I don't know what that says about me, but I like space. Anyways, the story was okay. Probably won't watch again, but enjoyed my revolution around the big blue marble. Thank you, and good night. And what's our rating? What's our rating here? Yeah, maybe. I give it 7 out of 10. Not bad. Didn't hate it. Had a good time. Yeah, saving that one. Wasn't expecting this movie, but my friend recommended it, and I'm glad we got to watch it together. It was a fun time. There was one other... oh yeah, I was telling you about the movie that I literally just watched, which was even shorter. See, yeah, that's the one. Yes. Quite right. Pardon me while I pull it up. The other movie that I just watched is called The Secret of Kells, which I didn't realize was nominated. Oh, I thought it won. It's not. It was nominated for Best Picture, Best Animated Picture. This one was really sweet, honestly. I was only kind of half watching it, if I'm completely honest, because I was doing work in class while it was happening. However, the style of it is really unique and cool. I'll just show you some like stills here. Like the art style, completely like 2D and this like cool twisted perspective. Like you really get this like glass pane kind of like vibe from it. And it's honestly like really cozy vibes. Obviously there's a lot of, not so cozy things happening, but it was a good time. I think if I had like actually sat with it and just watched it instead of like half watching it in class, I definitely would have gotten more out of it. There were some really creative moments as well that I feel like I could have hit my heart more again if I was paying attention. But that being said, of Kells, The Secret of Kells, 2009. Honestly, I did not expect that. I thought it was more recent. But yeah, let's add our quick review. We won't take so long on this one, because I only half watched it. A beautiful little animated treat. A beautiful little animated treat. Really, coins a unique style that is often missed within today's animation world. A short but sweet story doesn't overstay its welcome, and likely a source of inspiration for animators everywhere. We don't all have to replicate Pixar to make something wonderful. That being said, I love Pixar. Okay, that's my review, and I'm gonna rate this one a clean 4 out of 5. No, I'm gonna give it a 7, and if I watch it again, I'll give it a better shot. But that is my review. That's our review section. Just wanted to keep you guys up to date on what is currently inspiring me. I'm still doing research in, like, I need to get back into watching The Newsroom and the Serial podcast, which I got a New York Times subscription for, because that might be, that might be good to get more out of the actual thing that I paid for. But that is neither here nor there. What is next on the docket? Is it just, it's writing a TV show. That's exactly what I thought. Let me pull it up. And we'll refresh on where we've been. And then we're going to just jump into where we need to go next. I know, I'm sorry. I'm making music with my mouth instead of with my computer. Microsoft Word. That's the one. That's the word. What's the word, Jonah? Boom. And I got to change my text. I think that would be appropriate. Current goal. Right. Building our characters. Yeah, nice. So, what do we have here? Actually, I am going to play some music, and I'm going to get some water real quick. Hold on. Wait. I've returned, and I have a mug. What, you've never had a mug of water before? Okay. Let's focus here. Let's focus. No. We need something a little more low-key. Where is that? There we go. Okay, so where have we gotten so far? Well, we decided, based on all of our brainstorming, that we were going to write a TV show following this investigator, following this kind of broken, maybe not broken, but disorganized and unique family. And last time we developed that it would be called, or at least what we're calling it right now, is Soul Reader, because our engine is that when Samuel Reader, an investigative reporter with the ability to read souls, discovers that his recently deceased father is involved in a web of deception and criminal activity, he's forced to work with his stepsister and follow the thread to the harsh truth while discovering how to be a father himself. That's kind of the premise. That's our engine. And we were kind of debating through last time on whether this protagonist, the Samuel Reader guy, whether his abilities, shall we say, are supernatural or whether they are just like heightened, to a human level. And I want to hone more in on that today. But we started pointing out some characteristics of him. And we were trying to lay out like some other relationships, talking about his father, who, you know, he dies, but we're not sure if we want him to die fully yet. We were debating how to open the show, because if we go the route where his gift is supernatural and like he has to touch someone and he can read them or something, then like we could open with this opening where he's like being interrogated or something. You don't know what's going on, and then he's like trying to egg the interrogator on to punch him. That way he can like read him and get to him. I don't know, there's something there. We really need to build that and feel that out, how much we want to do that. We asked some good questions. Where does he work? And the basic structure that we were kind of, you know, loosely going off of is that we open on some crime scene, or maybe he's being interrogated, like we said. We kind of jump back and we realize his father has died, so now his life situation has changed, where he has to take care of his son, his mother, and himself, and maybe even his sister. In that order. And then, you know, stepping back from work, pulling away from it till he's fired, the photograph of the victim and the dad's car being in the back, or some way of indicating that, like, oh, my dad is involved in something more, or he was, and now I need to get to the bottom of this. The cool idea that we kind of came to, if it was supernatural, or I guess even if it wasn't, but with his ability to read people, that he sees the potential for evil in everyone, so he's very jaded and kind of has given up on people and refuses to believe in their redemption. But then, you know, bringing that character growth, if you choose to look for good, there's a capacity for that. A lot to kind of look into, develop there. We kind of made this chart here where our main character is in the middle, and then he had a mom who's not in the picture anymore. His deep connection was with his dad, who is now gone, deceased. But the dad married into a different family. Dad too is out of the picture, as far as we know, unless we feel different about that. And then he gets like this new sister sort of thing, and then he has a son of his own, and this, you know, so there's a lot of like broken ties and or loss kind of in this. And so what we were gonna try to do today is I wanna develop this more and develop these characters, kind of get to the bottom of what we want to get out of them, and really who they are. And so we're going to kind of go through and we're going to start brainstorming these like simple things, specifically with our protagonist today. We'll see how far we get with that, and then we'll go back and check out our other characters. Hello, mate. What's up, Rowan? And then we've got these questions here that I think will be really helpful for us in, you know, just kind of feeling out who these characters are. So we've got these like, you know, seemingly inconsequential questions like coffee or tea, dog person or cat person. And then we've got the more like real, like morality questions, like would you rather have truth or happiness? Would you rather have security or risk? You know, and that would be all interesting things to kind of pursue. But what I was going to say is I had an idea, and I guess we can kind of put this like the ability brainstorm, whatever his soul reading ability is. And I had this idea while we were kind of in a hotel this weekend, that I personally don't dream that much. I don't get a lot of dreams, except for when I go like elsewhere. I go to other houses, I sleep in someone else's bed, I go to a hotel, and I get weird dreams. And it made me wonder, like, what if the bed you slept in, if it was like a hotel or something, you had a dream based on like the emotions and the like mental state of the person that slept in the bed before you. Because it's always that thing of like, you don't know what's going on or what's been happening in the hotel room that you're in. You don't know who was in there. And I just found it weird in myself that like whenever I leave is when I have more memorable dreams. So I was wondering with this ability if he has the ability to read someone by touching them, does that apply to items that are close to them and they have recently touched? Oh, could be something. It's an interesting like field to play in, because it's kind of bordering, or not even bordering, it's kind of in the realm of like this like psychic sort of thing, which again, I don't know yet if I want to lean like fully into that, or if I want to make it more abstract, make it more just like this guy of high IQ, or maybe it's not IQ, maybe it's like EQ. Is that like emotional intelligence? What is EQ? Can I get a Google window? What is EQ? Emotional intelligence, the ability to perceive, understand, manage, and use emotions effectively. Interesting. So that's kind of cool. Emotional intelligence, also known as emotional quotient, is the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in positive ways, to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflict. That's very interesting. I'm wondering if we could like play off of that in some way, because if there's this like, if there's like this debate, right? Like there's debate over whether his abilities are like God-given or like supernatural, versus some like, and not necessarily scientific, but just like versus like genetic, I should say. And that could play into like, some say it's God-given, others say that he is measured with one of the highest EQs known, which we really need to like hone in on for sure for ourselves, what we think it is. So let's start with these basics. Oh, also, I don't know, last time we kind of brainstormed and we were like, what if his name was Samuel Reeder? I like the name Samuel, but I'm wondering if it's going to be too on the nose to do like his last name is Reeder. But then if you made his last name Reed, like, is that also just kind of like, you know, on the nose in some way? I think Reed's a strong last name, and I don't know if I would put an E at the end or not. Is Reed last name? A variant of the English surname Reed, which originates potentially from the Middle English word red, or from place names like Reed in Lancashire. Reed. Samuel Reed. Or Reader. You spell it like that. Reedy. Samuel Reader. Reed. I don't know. But there's something there. But questioning, what does he want ultimately? What does he want out of this life? Or what does he think he wants? And then we get deeper into like, what does he actually need? What are fears he has? What are beliefs he has? His strengths, his weaknesses. And strengths kind of like, I guess skills is its own category. We're kind of making like our character card here for this guy. We're also trying to think what other characters remind us of him. One other thing that I was thinking about, along with the, like, what are his abilities, this cool, like, you know, what if he slept in a hotel room and he was like, or I can't sleep in hotel rooms because I just, like, know immediately who was in my bed before me. What was I gonna say? I don't know. I don't even know. Oh yeah, we kind of set this structure up as if he, in the first episode, like gets fired, and then through that, starts this kind of private detective or private investigator agency in like the first episode, which I think could work. But I was also thinking that might be a good like end of season thing, because I'm trying to like decipher in my own head whether this guy has already had these abilities like established and people know about it, or if it's something that he's kind of discovering more and more, like this is becoming more powerful if it is supernatural. And in that case, I feel like it could be a cool thing where it's like, you know, he's having to jump through hoops at work, and maybe he doesn't get fired, but he discovers like corruption in the workplace, and like at the end of the season, like he's working with his sister throughout the season to make stuff happen, and she's like his Watson, his you know, his partner. And then it's not till the end of the season that officially, like, they start this thing. They think they've figured out what the secret is, and then they can move on and start this new company, which we can later use in other seasons and other in the future, but maybe not do it right away. I don't know. What if it's like a private investigation, then never gets solved? He's slowly going crazy day by day and loses it. Maybe his partner then stops the case and then again opens the case 30 years later. Wow, that's a lot. First of all, thank you for the ideas coming in hot, Kay. Let me read that again. What if private investigation, it never gets solved? He's slowly going crazy day by day, loses it, partner stops the case and reopens it 30 years later. 30 years is a long time. However, I do like the idea of reopening a case that was like never solved, because that could play into the idea of his father. Like his father was involved in something years and years ago that's only coming back now, and he has to like reopen the case. Those are good thoughts there. Who is this Samuel Reed? Who is this mystery man? Mystery man. Images. Who is this man? Can I add an image for us? For our sake, image. Browse. Yeah, that's the one. I know he looks kind of bald in this, but this is who we're trying to figure out. Our mystery man, Samuel Reed, or Samuel Reeder. Hello, Super Gaming Texan. Welcome back. We are developing our characters right now. I talked about some ideas I was having, story-wise, based off last time. And we're gonna try to figure out what makes our characters tick, specifically our main character, and ask some good questions, some good would you rathers for him, to see how he would kind of approach these things. So let's start this with like the beginning of the story, you know, Soul Reader, like from the start, you know, what does he want out of life? What he wants is, he's, you know, career ambitions, you know, he wants to be this higher force in the investigative kind of industry, as an investigator. Let's see, what else does he want? I think he wants order. I think he's like a controlling kind of thing. He wants answers. Those are like kind of the basic wants. I think his deeper want at the beginning of the season will be wants to solve the case related to his father. And what he'll need is ultimately like emotional closure. What he needs is emotional closure that he never got to have with his dad. He needs that, and what he needs is he needs to open, or he needs to give people a chance, you know. He needs a something in him to kind of give people a chance again, because he's super jaded, and because he can either see or he sees so much, you know, in people's lives, that he just sees kind of the bad. He needs to be able to see the good in people again. So maybe that's it. He needs to see the potential in others. Super Gaming Texan, maybe he also wants to do something he believes his father would respect him for. Yeah, maybe he wants respect, and that can be at like work level, that can be family level, and father level, you know, like he in general wants to be respected. He wants answers. I'm not so super sure how I think about this like order kind of thing. Like I can see him being controlling, but I can also see him being like not completely put together. But maybe that's more his sister, you know. What does he fear? What does he fear? He fears definitely he has tryptophobia. Is that the right term? Tryptophobia? Is that the fear of holes? Trypophobia? Yeah. Oh, that is weird. I'm not gonna look at that. Or reverse, he fears letting his father down. Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe he fears being a father himself, because of his son, which in turn is like he fears letting people down. But we need to keep in mind this character trait that he doesn't really care what people think, and that's gonna come to bite him, you know. Like I had this like idea of a scene where you know, maybe his sister's trying to get him back into the dating sphere, because we know he had a wife at one point, and she's out of the picture now, which I think has kind of helped to lead more and more to his like negative outlook on humanity. And so he kind of is in this place of like, he thinks he gets people, and he's, you know, good at reading people, but he's not good at reading a room. Expert at reading people, horrible at reading the room, you know, just in terms of like what he should say. Like there's this great scene from I wonder if I can pull it up. There's this great scene from the Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr., where he's meeting Watson's like soon-to-be wife. Sherlock Holmes meets Watson's wife. This man has no tact. Exactly. Yeah, no sensitivity in dealing with others. That's a great word. Weaknesses. No tact. He doesn't, like, it's like this kind of paradox where he's sensitive, and the fact that he's sensitive to understanding people, like where they've been and what decisions they're gonna make, but he doesn't have the like emotional sympathy kind of thing, you know. Like tact is a perfect word for it. Let me pull up this clip from Sherlock Holmes, the Robert Downey Jr. movie. Is this it? Let's see. Google Chrome. Is that it? Nope. Is that it? Nope. What about that one? What about that one? Oh, there it is. I want to look at this clip for inspiration. Let me hide this image. Whoop. Whoop, whoop. Okay, let's look. Let me turn up the volume.
Take Watson.
I intend to.
See his walking stick, a rare African snake wood.
So he's kind of like showcasing his ability to like basically do what we're talking about, tell a lot about a person based on, you know, their appearance and what's on them.
Hiding a blade, 5 tensile steel. A few were awarded to veterans of the Afghan war, so I can assume he's a decorated soldier. Strong, brave, born to be a man of action. And neat, like all military men. Now, I check his pockets. Ah, a stub from a boxing match. Now, I can infer that he's a bit of a gambler. I'd keep an eye on that dowry if I were you.
Those days are behind me.
Right behind you.
Right behind you.
It's cost us the rent more than once.
Well, with all due respect, Mr. Holmes, you know John very well. What about a complete stranger? What can you tell about me?
You.
Ooh, bad choice.
I don't think that's...
I don't know that that's...
Not a dinner.
Perhaps some other time.
I insist.
You insist?
You remember we discussed this?
The lady insists.
The lady insists. Uh-oh.
You're a governess.
Well done.
Yes, well done. Shall we... Waiter.
Your student. It's a boy of 8.
Charlie's 7, actually.
Finished tall for his age. He flicked ink at you today.
Is there ink on my face?
There's nothing wrong with your face.
There are 2 drops on your ear, in fact. India blue's nearly impossible to wash off. Anyway, a very impetuous act by the boy, but you're too experienced to react rashly, which is why the lady for whom you worked lent you that necklace. Oriental pearls, diamonds, a flawless ruby, hardly the gems of a governess. However, the jewels you are not wearing tell us rather more.
Holmes.
You were engaged. The ring has gone, but the lighter skin where it once sat suggests that you spent some time abroad wearing it proudly. That is, until you were informed of its true and rather modest worth, at which point you broke off the engagement and returned to England for better prospects. Doctor, perhaps.
Nope.
Right on all counts, Mr. Holmes, apart from one. I didn't leave him. He died.
Well done, old boy.
Yeah, so that's the kind of like tactlessness that we're kind of talking about. He is right, he likes to be right. Maybe we can play off that for sure. He likes to be right. But that doesn't mean just because he is right, that doesn't mean he should be saying those things, go up here. So maybe he wants respect. He wants to be right. Yeah, I can just imagine, like, maybe he's going on, he's saying like, I'm not really good at dating, and he goes out with someone, right? And maybe this someone is like, ooh, what can you tell about me? I've heard so much about you, but I might as well not even like talk about myself. You could tell me everything about me. And then he's very tone deaf to her feelings, and he's like, oh, you felt all this, and you want all this and all of that. I know that those aren't actual words, but a belief idea. He believes truth is more important than feelings. I think that's a great kind of thing to pull off of. I think that's one of these. Yeah, that's kind of one of our questions that we're going to ask. But I think definitely for him, like, he values truth over feelings. Like, truth, feelings, or politeness, He's going to give you, he's blunt. He gets straight to the point. Blunt. Or another word, when it comes to truth, feelings don't matter. Yeah. And maybe that's like a point of, like, that's a part of our theme, or one of our themes also, is this idea that, like, truth at what cost, at the cost of someone's feelings, at the cost of someone's livelihood. Can you shield people from the truth? And that kind of plays also into how his mother might be deceiving him, because we talked about the stepmom could actually know where the father is, and in the end she's the one that's like hiding the truth from him. Weaknesses: horrible at reading a room, no tact. I had this idea, we kind of talked about, like, I could never read my parents or whatnot, but I think a weakness could be the closer he gets to someone, the less he's able to read them, which is this interesting, like, paradox thing where it's like, typically when you get closer to someone, you get a better sense of, like, who they are and what they're feeling. And maybe, like, the closer he gets to someone, like, their details, but the better he gets at, like, emotionally reading them, the more he's able to emotionally connect, kind of thing. There was another scene that I kind of thought of that is a little creepier, but I think is a good example also.
What did you do?
Whoa. What did you do? Hold on. There it is. There's the man.
What did you do?
I went downstairs, outside. I crept up into the barn. I was so scared to look inside, but I had to.
What did you see, Clarice? What did you see?
Camera's so close.
Lambs. They were screaming.
They were slaughtering the spring lambs,
And they were screaming.
and you ran away?
No. First I tried to free them. I opened the gate to their pen, but they wouldn't run. They just stood there, confused. They wouldn't run.
But you could, and you did, didn't you?
Yes. I took one lamb and I ran away as fast as I could.
Where were you going, Clarice?
I don't know. I didn't have any food, any water, and it was very cold. It was very cold. I thought if I could save just one, but he was so heavy. It was so heavy.
This is kind of like how I kind of picture him like manipulating or like getting into people's heads and kind of breaking him down, using it against people later on. Sort of like this.
I didn't get more than a few miles when the sheriff's car picked me up. The rancher was so angry, he sent me to live at the Lutheran orphanage in Postman. I never saw the ranch again.
What became of your lamb, Clarice?
I killed him.
You still wake up sometimes, don't you? You wake up in the dark and hear the screaming of the lambs.
Yes.
And you think if you save poor Catherine, you could make them stop, don't you? You think if Catherine lives, you won't wake up in the dark ever again to that awful screaming of the lambs.
I don't know. I don't know.
Thank you, Clarice.
Such a powerful scene. Yeah, there's in that case, the Hannibal is like literally an analyst. You know, he is he is kind of like a therapist in a sense, or he was before he got like caught for everything he was doing. But that's a much darker take on it. But I really like the idea of using this, like, you know, giving Sam this this more layered character, where if this is like an ability he's discovering more and realizing more in himself, that he realizes the potential it has for good and for bad, you know, in his life or in others' lives. Like, he realizes more and more that, like, maybe he could use this to better people's lives, but he can also use it to kind of wreck people. And we can kind of see, like, maybe him take a dip into like a villainous, like a more antagonistic sort of arc. And like he sees that in himself, and it scares him, it scares his sister, his mother, because he wants to be right, like we said. He wants respect, he wants answers, order. He wants to but he also wants to protect his family. He wants to raise his son well, even if he doesn't know how. Super Gaming Texan, idea for why he fails at reading close: he stops paying attention, or because he trusts no one, so when he gets close he feels comfortable. Yeah, something like that. His mind works overtime so much he can't keep up his act when around others he's familiar with. Yeah, something like the more familiar he is, the less he's on guard, kind of thing. I don't know, something like that, but somewhere in that train of thought. Weaknesses, he it could be a strength or a weakness, but like what would we call that? His kind of tendency to like take advantage of people. He slowly has series of hallucinations of him stuck in a dark room filled with blood, and every time one person appears tells him how pathetic he is, maybe like challenge his wants. That would be crazy if we had if we played even more into like the supernatural sense, if he was having these like episodes, these visions of something that like he couldn't explain. That would be really interesting. Fear losing more of his family. Yeah, I think he definitely should have a fear of loss, like further loss, you know, because based on our chart here, what has he lost? He's lost a wife, you know, he's lost his partner in life. He has at some point in his life lost a mom, you know, we're assuming that's young, but that's still a loss. And he's then just recently lost his dad. And so now he is desperate to not lose, I should highlight here, to not lose his stepmom and his sister, and his son, you know, like he is desperate. And so like, he's going to cut out anyone who tries to like, to take that. I like that a lot. Definitely. Let's see. What else does he want? I'll turn him. Sorry. Loud. He wants, you know, career ambitions. He wants order. He wants answers, respect. He wants to be right. To protect his family, to raise his son well. So due to his loss, he's very angry when someone who even mocks him, like his sister, even the slightest. Yeah, but I think also I think this should be like a descent into that more. I think what's kind of rolling in my head right now is that like he's a successful investigator already, right? Like he works at some news outlet. He works at some sort of investigative agency or something, where he is already really strong at like interviewing people and getting to the bottom of like who they are. But then as he goes, he starts discovering more of this like power thing. If we want to go into like the power sphere, I really need to decide for myself whether I want to like go that way or not, because I think that could be really cool. But I also I want to know like, or I want to decide whether I want that to be like, oh, he's a psychic, or oh, this is like he's like a prophet or something. But basically like he would discover this power more and more and how he could use it. Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, because we're kind of establishing his character based on the fact that like he is jaded against people more and more, and maybe that like that can happen over time. Maybe he doesn't start there, but maybe he starts in a place that's like, you know, maybe I can give people a chance, but then he goes like, you know what, no, we're not giving any more people a chance, like, other than the family which I'm gonna protect. I don't trust anyone. Yeah, I guess that's a weakness, is trusting people. Trust issues, which is really gonna cause problems when he finds out his mom was lying to him. Let's take a look at this skills thing here so we can kind of start to nail down what's going on with this. Skills. Let me look up the definition again of EQ, because I think that's interesting, and it could be like a cool way to like scientifically explain what's going on. But if EQ includes like empathy, then like maybe he doesn't have as high a bit. How do they measure that? How do you measure IQ? Can we take an EQ test? We can. Test your emotional intelligence. Do we want to do this real quick? Should he have something like fear of betrayal, or should he start with something like fear of betrayal or gain that later on? Yeah, I don't know yet. I don't know. Let me pull this up. This might be interesting. Google Chrome. Yeah. Let's take this. I don't know how long it is, but let's take this emotional. Oh no. Let's take this emotional intelligence quiz and see what it's like measuring on, so we can see if this is like, here, let me do this. Instead of answering as myself, let me answer how I think Sam would answer, right? And we can kind of figure out whether though I really hope this isn't something where it makes me down or makes me send an email to do my results. Let's see. I do not become defensive when criticized. If we're talking with Sam, I'm going to say disagree. I can stay calm under pressure. I would say he can. I agree. Sam handles setbacks effectively. You expect him to score very low. Yeah, let's see. Because originally I was going to be like, oh, maybe he's known for having this high emotional intelligence, and that's how people see him as like the reader. But I don't know if that's actually what emotional intelligence is. I handle setbacks effectively. Effectively, he would probably agree. I think he's smart on his feet. I manage anxiety, stress, anger, and fear in pursuit of a goal. Does he? He manages it well. I probably disagree. I utilize criticism and other feedback for growth. I don't think he's very good at being criticized. I am positive. Disagree. I maintain a sense of humor. I think he would say agree, even if people don't think he's very funny. I think he would say agree. I try to see things from another's perspective. Well, that's strongly agree. He sees everything from people's perspectives. I recognize how my behavior affects others. He doesn't really care about that. I air grievances skillfully. That would be funny if he said, yes, I air that. He probably would say neither agree or disagree. I can listen without jumping into judgment. Strongly disagree. Strongly disagree on that one. I can freely admit to making a mistake. He'd probably say neither, even though it's more likely disagree. Which of the risks listed would he struggle with at work or find the most difficult to initiate? Admitting a mistake. Oh, I should have read through the other ones. Whoops. In what situation do you feel the least confident to take a risk? The least confident taking a risk? Probably in a small group setting, if we're talking about his family. When you face a difficult moment, such as a hard conversation with someone, it happens when you don't expect it, or when you expected it. It probably happens when he expected it, because he can kind of sense that. Over the last year, my team has taken time to discuss and clarify how we want to work together. Probably disagree. I find there are different cultures on the different teams I work on. He would probably agree. The highest performers at work perform better under pressure. Strongly agree. The best leaders at work perform better under pressure. Strongly agree. Okay, let's see what he got. Don't make me watch a video. Your results low to mid-range. People in this range often find themselves getting frustrated with their coworkers, even their loved ones, or holding in emotions and feeling stress and anxiety. They seem to have less buffer for dealing with pressure change and difficult situations in relationships. Are you responding to life and its pressure with fear and insecurity rather than passion and purpose? Emotional intelligence can be learned and improved. So it seems like he's low. Okay, I thought they were gonna give like a number, but it seems like that seems about right. So maybe he's saying like he has such high emotional intelligence doesn't really make a lot of sense with what actual emotional intelligence is, you know? Like he might be super smart about other people's emotions, but that doesn't mean he's super smart at dealing with those emotions, you know? Whoop. Hello. Is that right? Maybe. Anywho, let's get our image back up. Who is this man? Look, guys, it's me, Mystery Man McGee. Oh, you couldn't hear him talk? That's because my music stopped. Whoops. Whoops-a-daisy. Oh, well, he was just saying the same what was written, so not too much helpful there, but yeah. Anywho, trying to put this somewhere. What else is being said? Maybe, yeah, it's probably not EQ, but I don't know what you would call that. Yeah, who's that? Who's that Pokemon? It's me! Yay. Yeah, I don't think it's EQ, but it is, there's something. Maybe to outside he has strong personality, so he would score very high, but only to his sister we see the actual side. So he might manipulate the test to get right. Yeah. So yeah, maybe EQ is not the thing. Let me look up what is the ability to read others well called. This ability, often referred to as empathetic accuracy or social perceptiveness, or simply perceptiveness. In fact, you don't need a psychology degree or supernatural powers to tune into others' emotions. In fact, with some practice, reading people's emotions can become a valuable skill. So maybe his technical skill that people kind of define as is he has high empathetic accuracy or perceptiveness. Whoa. Perceptiveness. Like, I'm gonna be so honest, I really think the way that like I'm leaning on this is to go more into a like into the supernatural, into the unexplainable, but I want to be able to still like define it, you know. Perceptiveness is a nice word. I agree. Just drinking my mug of water. Oh, you guys want to know something cool? I restocked on sweets. I restocked on sweets recently because, you know, my Easter basket was getting kind of low. So I went to my SCAD like candy store basically the other night, and I got a few things. I got you know, I got a little Swedish Fish, I got a little Micah Nikes, I got little Follies, nerds, Emmett, nip. I don't have a problem, you do. It's still going. Hold on. Oh, you thought that was it? Okay, that's it. That's all. Handmaids. I might have a slight addiction. Maybe that can be, hey, maybe that can be our character trait. Maybe that could be a strength. That could be a strength for our character, right, guys? That he likes that he likes candy, right, guys? Listen, you should be proud of me that I didn't just like eat that all immediately, you know? Look, I understand. I have a sugar tooth. It's true. A sweet tooth, I should say. But I think that's a strength. Look, strength. Sweet tooth. See? Oh wait, you can't see. See? Oh, not sweet to gooth. Sweet teeth. Sweet tooth. See? Right, guys? Strengths. Sweet tooth. Ability, skills. High empathetic accuracy. Perceptiveness. Yeah. We'll get more into it with like as we're getting like the plot clearer, where we want to jump in his progression, right? Like if the timeline is like from discovering that he knows how to talk to people to fully realizing that he has like this soul reading ability, this prophetic ability, like where on that spectrum do we meet him at as he's heading closer this way, you know? I bought 5-pound bag of Smarties. I have bought many bags of candy. I can relate. See, where we like the sweet tooths in our life, okay? Sugar is a problem, but it's not, that's future me's problem is what I always say. Wants, career ambitions, order, answers, respect, to be right, to protect his family, to raise his son well. He kind of wants to prove himself. I guess that's kind of respect, but he wants to he's kind of jealous of his sister, I think, and how she can like go about life and seemingly not care as much. So he wants to not care, or he wants to, I guess he wants to outdo his sister in a sense, but I don't know if that's like a super strong sort of thing. I feel like we need more needs and more fears and beliefs. Beliefs, I mean, on a very practical level, he believes, I think he believes in facts, you know. But here's the thing, is we can't be like exactly what he can see, because like what he can see are things that are not really easy to be seen, you know? Like the things that he gets to see that others don't, he can't exactly like use as evidence, you know? I think we should jump to the end where he has known all his powers, and we follow this man who doesn't want to do anything about his powers because he thinks he never had love from his father, and his father loved the powers and unknown. That's definitely an approach, and like I'm definitely considering, because you know, you could do like this origin story kind of thing, or you could kind of like the Tom Holland Spider-Man in it, where it's like we know he has powers and he knows he has powers, but how does he live knowing that? My only thing with that is I feel like we would have more room to grow if he's like discovering this more and more in himself. You know what I mean? When you eat most of a bag of sour worms, you don't have any ground to stand on. This is of course a completely made up example. Did you see my stream where I was watching Epic? Literally the whole stream, which by the way is like by far one of the most popular things I've ever done, or most viewed things. The whole stream, I was just like, I didn't think anyone was gonna show up, so I was just eating sprees, just like. So that was really good, guys. Like, I was just eating candy the whole time. So funny. And now several hundred people have had to sit through that. You do like the idea of starting in the middle of the journey. We build his past as you tell the story. Yeah. Like, I don't think we should start cold turkey where it's like, oh, he's learning how to be an investigator. Like, I think if we're jumping in to he's lost his father and we're getting his past, then we should also jump into like, but he's great at what he does, even if people don't really know how to explain it. I guess what I'm trying to brainstorm is, how does he kind of understand that? Like, is it a mix of he's able to kind of Sherlock Holmes pick up on these details and pick up on a person, or does he literally like grab someone's hand and shot into his brain is just like these visions or this idea of who this person is or how they're feeling? Maybe cut back and forth between naive him solving with his father, discovering his powers and present self. Yeah, I was definitely thinking that we should have like flashback moments in this to get more of his father. I'm gonna write that down. We want flashback moments. We want flashback moments with Dad. I think that makes sense. And even like younger version of the sister. How much of a character development would you want to see for this particular character throughout the timeline? See, that's what we're kind of trying to feel out, is like, what do we want Sam's what do we want his arc to be? Because we could really take him down like a negative path and give him this like Hannibal Lecter sort of thing where, you know, his family keeps him grounded, but his family is also the thing that's like driving him to do all this stuff. And when he gets into these situations with people, when he gets into these situations where people are against him and like threatening his life, at first he uses it as like self-preservation. You know, it's like this Walter White mentality of, okay, well, I'm dying and I need to provide for my family. Like, it starts out that way, but then as we progress, he starts making decisions where it's like, did you really have to do that to save your family, or did you just kind of want to use your power over this guy to kind of break him? So we could have like that negative arc and him going further away from that. And depending on where we want to go with that, that could end fully like he goes complete negative, or he could have this like dip and then his family bring him back and he realizes, no, there is good in people. Like, okay, what if I'm going to start drawing terribly again, so forgive me. But what if why isn't it working? Go down. What if the progression of the arc, right? Stay with me now. So this is Sam. Oh gosh. This is Sam. No, okay, that's Sam, right? And we have Sam's arc. His arc. Let's say where we start with him. Like, this is our starting spot, you know? And we start here, and he starts jaded and untrusting, right? Like, he's lost so many people in his life. he is really good at getting to the bottom of who people are, but he's just kind of like coasting, you know, and he's got his family and whatnot. And then we start seeing like a progression downwards, right? We start seeing this progression where he's like, you know, realizes power, you know, he realizes his ability to like kind of mess with people's heads, and really take them into bad places. And it starts with like this like protection, you know, like, and this arc would look way better and not stupid, but you know, it starts as like protection, and then we get to a place like even lower where it's like no longer protection, but it is like abuses power, basically. And he abuses power kind of unnecessarily against people in his life. And it's like, okay, what's going on here? And this kind of turn can happen sort of like, you know, maybe there's this like chance of hope for him, but then he discovers mom's a liar, mom's lying. Like he has that sliver of hope, and then it goes downhill again. Like, okay, we're going to abuse power, until maybe in the end what he has to learn is actually, oh, you know, in the end, hope. You know, there's hope in humanity, there's hope in people, and if you put hope in people, you can bring out the goodness in them, kind of thing. Like that could be something. I'm seeing a lot of suggestions here. Hold on, let me take a pause and read. Maybe we can make him a story about giving up and changing perspective, like he loses his father due to the case and then he realizes that the case can't be solved, but he's fine with it. Or maybe his sister makes him reopen the case where he starts to get his powers back, which he didn't use then. He realizes that the family is the main thing, and his sister starts to become what he and his father were become, but he helps his sister, kind of helps her move on in the case. How much should his sister play into the hope part of the journey? Well, that's the thing. And by the way, these are great suggestions. And great, really great playing into like how like his relationship with his sister is going to be super crucial. But you think about his sister, who we still need to name, by the way. We need to give her a name, but how much we want the sister to play into it will really depend a lot on how we make her character. But that's the sister. But like we can start her off, you know, like maybe she starts here and she is like, you know, carefree, you know, she, like both of them have this kind of disconnect with the world, but he's disconnected because he doesn't believe there's hope in the world, and she's disconnected because she doesn't really have like any drive. She's just kind of like staying steady here. But then as like he's realizing his power, she's realizing more and more how she can be a better impact in his life and in the life of others. And so she, like, he realizes his power, and she is like taking responsibility, you know, she's taking responsibility. And then like her arc doesn't have to go like his direction, and she can be more of this, like, you know, leading up here. Or what if she goes all the way down and she starts seeing the evil in the world, you know? Stepsister suggestion name Nadia, meaning delicate, fragile hope. I do like that name a lot, Nadia, you know. But we need to develop her character more before we get into her arc, but that is an important question, is like how much is she gonna play into his journey. I do like Nadia as a potential name. I'll put it down just as like as a potential. Stop drawing. Stepsister. Nadia? Question mark. At different points of the story, with the more information he finds, it keeps shifting the blame of his father's death on the father himself or another suspect, and this blame keeps shifting until the end when it turns out to be another third party. Okay, hold on, let me kind of think about this. Also, why does my music keep turning off? Stop! Let me kind of like think about this in my brain hole. So what you're saying is that kind of the whole like engine and the driving force of the story is him being like, oh shoot, my dad, who, you know, we have him as this firefighter right now. That could change, but his dad's died in a fire. But then he opens up this old case or this case and he's like, oh wait, that's my dad's car, or that's my dad's something. So my dad's involved in this somehow. And so while he's trying to like investigate that, he's kind of also discovering and trying to relive moments with his father. But as he goes, he could have this suspicion with his father where he's like, I don't know, was my dad trying to be a good guy and like infiltrate this? Was my dad actually evil himself? And is this kind of like shifting my whole perspective on him? Yeah, I like that a lot as like this kind of this theme, this thread of like who is Mr. Reed, you know? Good guy, bad guy, worth finding? Because eventually, we don't know when we want to reveal this yet, but eventually when Sam finds out that he's still alive, is it going to be this clear, like, oh, I got to find him because it's my dad? Or is it going to be this, like, you know, we just realized that your dad is a bad guy, so you have to find him, but secretly he wants to find him because he just wants to see his dad kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could play a lot with, like, the, ooh, what's going on here with that? Maybe she starts to get powers and then he has to train her, which he first doesn't, but kind of see the future where she becomes a villain. And if he doesn't, I was literally thinking, okay, quick pause, but it's related. I guess I can play the music, except the music's not playing for you guys. That's crazy. No, I was literally thinking, you know, one of my favorite shows that got canceled 2 seasons in is called Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. Let me pull it up. Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. Okay. This is one of my favorite shows, or at least it was while it was on TV. It is all about this woman who gets the power to hear other people's thoughts and in song, and she can hear people's inner emotions and what they're thinking performed for only her in her head. Like, really fun concept, really cool show. And what they did at the end of the 2nd season, spoiler alert, before they canceled the show, is they gave her main love interest the ability to also hear other people's emotions in song, and he could hear her emotions in song. And it was such this exciting moment. It was like, oh my gosh, now this like cool concept of the show, this other character can also play into it. That is so cool. I can't wait to see it. And then they canceled the show, ladies and gentlemen. They canceled the show. And I was just like, what are you doing? Like, this just got like so cool again. It was such a failure on their part, on Peacock's part, or wherever it was. I think the show was just too expensive and not enough people were watching it. which is always how it goes and is really unfortunate. But man, so anyways, related to that question, I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if at some point in this, like, Nadia or his stepsister realized or started finding that she also had this power, you know? And I don't think it would be a first season thing at all. I think it would be like a later season kind of reveal. But that would be really cool if this like partnership that they form and this whatever private investigation agency that they start building, she starts to get that. Yeah, it was a really interesting idea. Reading your guys' ideas more, maybe his dad killed himself one day out of nowhere. He never got to know why he did it, and then he finds a case or something which his father solved first, and you get to play good guy, bad guy of the father. True. While he's investigating, at a few points, a few close family members are suspects due to conflicts between them, and it leaves a few open-ended questions on the secrets of the family for the future. That's interesting because that brings into play potentially these where is it? These two characters here. Need a good color. The mom that was out of the picture and the dad that was out of the picture from the stepmom's side. And it could even bring in like these outer characters who are like not in his life anymore. These could be like a ring of like suspects, or I'll just say sus. Like this could be a ring of sus kind of people, because it's kind of relating directly into the family sort of stuff. I like that, like tying that in. And then in reality, when we get to like a reveal where it's like the dad is alive and the stepmom knows about it, and has been lying to protect him and to protect all of them, then that creates this distrust also, you know? Ooh, so there's something here with that. I think that idea of her gaining a different powder, maybe being closely related but not the exact thing, I think that's a good point, that she could later gain power, kind of thing. You can also say that a young member of the family snooping around finds hidden documents like divorce or something. True, because we do also have, we need to figure out eventually where the son fits into this, our Samuel's son, but not quite yet. Yeah, no, these are great ideas. These are great like arc building ideas also. And this would be the arc for the whole show. Like this wouldn't be like, and within this arc, you know, within this like greater show arc, there would be probably like be these mini arcs. And I wouldn't say that realizing power would be like there, but maybe we move this. Oh, that's all one chunk. Great. Whoops. Well, imagine like this is like, you know, we have an arc there, and then we have an arc down to here, and we have an arc, you know, to here, and like to here, sort of thing. And again, this is not like an exact sort of thing, but this would be for the whole show. And again, we're really focusing on our pilot also to like figure out how are we gonna get that across in this season. Like we can promise that we're gonna get to like all this cool stuff, but we got to make sure that we're keeping it compelling. Like we have an arc for that whole season, and then from like episode to episode are these also mini arcs, you know, where it's like woo 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 woo, you know. Sort of thing. Maybe the son is the main character of the show, which is kind of revealed at like one of the third of the show, and we shift to his old perspective, and the whole story you build can be like it's all recalling mystery to his son that he's solving. That would be a good thing if we like ran out of room to run here, and we wanted to do like a spin-off with the son to see how he's looking back on all this. That could be cool. Am I a film student? I was a film student. I am now a dramatic writing student with a film minor. So I'm basically still a film student, but officially screenwriting now. Kids are too nosy for their own good. Also, maybe his sister and the son are who help him find hope again because everyone else has lied to him. Yeah, as we're developing this, I'm really curious where he's gonna end up, like, feeling with his mother and father, if they make it, like, all the way to the end. But yeah, so this would be like whole show, you know, sort of arc. But I think we should try to get, like, hone it down more and more, like season 1 arc, and then we can get even more detailed into episode 1 arc, you know, because there's something that you're tracing through every single one. So, like, back to Sam, right? He's starting at this, you know, jaded spot. Oh. And he finds he's kind of starting stagnant. He finds kind of this new life and this new energy in his power. You know, and maybe it kind of starts out like, oh, things are getting better, even though, like, I'm trying to discover what happened to my dad. And then there's this, like, turning point kind of thing. Maybe the series name can be Cage the Animals Dead, which kind of animals are the inner animatic nature of humans. Goodness. Are you okay? Kay, look at me, Kay. Hold on, let me stop the music. Kay, are we doing all right? Buddy? I want to check in, make sure that I like the dark angle we're going. This is great. I want to know if, like, you are doing all right today. Because, like, we're just thinking out loud here. There's no bad ideas, like, by any means. Sometimes the teacher hears a student say something in the class and it's like, should I check on them? Here, I know what'll make you feel way better, because it makes everyone feel better. And that is
Chicken jockey.
Deep breath, chicken jockey. Maybe there's a bit of maternal manipulative control, probably by way of mother and son. Yeah, she's hiding something. That much we know. Season 1, one big truth about his father's death. Big truth idea. This initial suspect couldn't have been at the scene of the crime. It would somehow be impossible for it to be that person. I'm fine going for their darker tone. I get you. Yeah, we're trying to strike an interesting balance here with hitting, like, a darker tone, but doing it in a sense where it's like I think it has to descend there. I think we have to start upper and then, like, descend more and more into the darkness, even though it is starting at a dark spot. I like maternal control, like in the movie Only God Forgives. I have not heard of that one. Only God Forgives. Ryan Gosling. Guys. Shabstract just recommended a Ryan Gosling movie to us. That's beautiful. What's it about? Drug smuggler thriving sees his life get even more complicated when his mother compels him to do such and such. I see. That is an interesting take. You don't see it a lot in Who's Ryan Gosling? Who's Ryan Gosling? Super Gaming Texan, see me after class. We need to have a discussion. I might need to call your parents. Yes, that was your question. See me after class. We're gonna have a some random dude. Yeah, some guy. You know, he's just that guy. You know, he's just that dude. Yes, I guess. What you were saying before. One big truth about his father's death. Like, maybe don't do the superpowers elements like sci-fi, but more like film cure sort of thing. Yeah. I don't know. I like the idea of it turning even more supernatural, but like in this kind of grounded sort of sense, you know? Like the show Severance is super sci-fi and super weird and like what on earth is going on, but at the same time it still feels like really grounded and really like those things actually exist in a real space. So you know, maybe that could be something that we're kind of going for here, because it kind of plays into also a fantasy element. That's the other thing with this, is like, while we're trying to capture like a dark tone well, I think part of what draws me to a show is that, yes, it's dark, but I have hope for the characters, and there's a cool element that's bringing me back. And I feel like bringing it into that supernatural could be that cool element to bring you back along with the characters, where it's not just like, oh, I gotta go be sad to watch an hour of my favorite episode, but be like, well, I'm gonna be sad, but I also want to know, like, and discover more about this power thing with them. Check out 19's Film Cure. It does that too. The main villain hypothesis and like that. That's kind of cool. 19's, let me look it up. 19's Film Cure. Oh, I see. Is it the Japanese psychological horror kind of deal? Kind of cool. Arc. It's hard to kind of like plan out the arc if we're not like specifically planning out like the plot arc. Okay, cool. Because then we're gonna start getting into like the events that are gonna happen, and we definitely want to do that at some point. But here's what we'll do. Let's go through our character this or that, because we've laid out here a bunch of questions here that can kind of like help us hone in on Samuel. And I think it would be fun to go through these and kind of see like what would he kind of choose, and that can help us develop him even more. Sound good? We can kind of debate on each one. How about he does have a bit of hatred for his dad at a few points, and he sees a few similarities between him and his dad, and he hates it, but it shows he has a connection with his dad. Like, yeah, I definitely see that. I see like his dad and him like exploring that relationship, especially after he's gone, and how much he's like learning about him after he's gone. Like, in his eyes, he was super close with his dad, and now he's realizing like, oh, my dad wasn't who I thought he was at all, and like, I'm frustrated at this. I'm frustrated that he went in. Like, what if his dad like died in the fire, right? And that's the explanation for how he dies, if he is a firefighter. And what if it was like, you know, he was a hero, he went in and he went in to save these people. And we kind of do a big Hero 6 thing where Samuel can look at that, and that's part of why he's jaded against people too, is he's like, I hate that my dad would sacrifice his life to go save someone else. Like, I hate, like, he didn't think about his family, he didn't think about himself, he only thought about that person in there. Like, I hate that my dad had to go be like this hero, you know? Beliefs. Don't be a hero. And then in the end, maybe he's gonna have to be the hero, based in how his dad sacrificed himself for someone else. Do you have a different idea for the season 1 arc? Well, I figure if the arc of the first episode, which I'm kind of thinking more into right now, if the arc is for the first episode is that at the end he realizes my dad is involved in this and we're kind of building up to that, then I'm thinking that like the end of the first season is like you were saying, it is like some greater truth that is lying, like maybe we're getting really close in on a suspect, and like the cliffhanger could be that like, oh, you know, maybe the case went dry, maybe it doesn't matter what my dad did after all, but then a new thing opens up and it's like, oh, well, we need to continue investigating this to help more people and whatnot. Yeah, but we can leave it on a cliffhanger for sure. It's just a question of how much we reveal how soon. His dad's voice in his head, kind of like a relationship with his dad in A Prodigal Son, the TV show. You guys are giving me great suggestions. Prodigal Son show. With Tom Paine and criminal psychologist. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Knows how killers think. Because his dad was a serial killer himself. That is very interesting. That's on Max. Ooh, I might have to add that to my my watch list, especially with a title like Prodigal Son. That's kind of cool. Let me add that. Add that to later. That's kind of cool. Thank you for that suggestion. Because that sounds very similar already to what some stuff that's going on here. But yeah, I definitely think there should be a dialogue in his head with his dad, and I kind of wanted to build this idea of like we kind of talked about in his weakness, that the closer he gets to someone, the less he's able to read their details. Like I can imagine a line of dialogue where it's like, yeah, mom and dad, hardest people to read. Like he can read everyone who's like strangers, he can read people who are outside of his family sphere, but when it comes to like his mom and dad, he couldn't read them, and that's why he's so like blindsided, because he's so cares about like being right and knowing this stuff. And so as he's remembering stuff back to his dad, he's starting to pick up more and more. Or maybe like Interstellar, his dad gives him hints to solve the unsolvable case in case he dies, so his son can solve, and these clues can be in short stories which you show every episode. Ooh, that's interesting. That's interesting. So like we play into the fact that it's not just that his son's trying to get to the bottom of this, but his dad is leaving him a trail to follow. See, that could be interesting if like, because if at first he's trying to hide it from his son, then it would be weird for him to leave a trail. But if the dad gets in a situation where it's like, actually, I need my son to find me, like, how I personally feel about it is I think the dad is like a good guy, you know, in the end, but we're not going to know that for a while. But if they ever like actually reconnect, we can have this moment where it's like, oh, I left all, you followed the trail, you followed me here. And it doesn't have to be like an explicit thing every episode, but that could be like a cool, like the dad's leaving clues behind. Interesting. Every short story can be stories of kings to the modern world. I do like the Interstellar idea, because Interstellar is a mind messes with your mind. It first looks like he saves someone, but as he finds out more, he finds reasons to think that his dad went in for a selfish or bad reason, but his opinion on why his dad went in changes between good and bad. I really like the way you're thinking, following this dad thread, shabstract. Cause yeah, what if one of the clues he's discovering is that, oh, you know, we thought he went into this building to save someone, but actually, if he is working for this criminal underground sort of thing, he actually went in there to get like a big piece of incriminating evidence that could go either way, where it's like, was he trying to get that to save himself from being arrested, or was he trying to get that to turn someone in, you know? I need to write down like story beats. Also, I was totally sidetracked from the character this or that, but that's completely fine because we're getting some great brainstorming ideas here. Can I please? No, I don't want to do that, please. Oh, why are you so weird, drawing? Please let me. Oh, why? Ew, why are you like that? Guys, does anyone know how Word works? Please, help. Send help. Can you perhaps not be dumb and stupid? Like, can I come right after this? That's where I want to go. I don't want to type up here. I want to type right down here. Please. I don't want to open a new Word document just for you. Sorry. Like a dialogue between him and his dad happens in his head. It's like Matt talks to his dad in Daredevil. I love Daredevil. Where he asks his dad, why did you do what you did? But it's just his imagination, so he won't reveal any info. Yeah, for real. A breadcrumb trail, and his mom holds on to a piece of essential info, but just divert the convo into different things. I don't work with it. Can you copy and paste the whole drawing? This is redonkulous. Can you just... Please. Could you please work for me? It's not... No! Guys. Word was not the move when it came to drawing. You're gonna make me hit every single... I'm fine. This is great. Can I go away from you? I'm trying to write important stuff down. Okay. No, you stay here. That's fine. That's all fine. Now I come down here. Yes. Story beat ideas. Talking to dad in imagination. Talking to dad in flashbacks. Did dad go in for hero reasons or evil reasons? Sister powers? Question mark. Mother holds secret. Dad leaving breadcrumbs. Just writing it down, these ideas. These are great. What if his dad works for the bad guys, where the main two guys are like Daniel Day-Lewis, Rough Side, and Robert Downey Jr. from Oppenheimer, the brains, and actually Sam comes from the family where they are the good guys? Maybe. Yeah, I got it. But his father can't kill Sam and adopt him. Now the brother finds out about this and kills Sam's father. And now this is kind of a revenge action crime thriller, because maybe he can't kill them. So he kind of creates this person who has powers, but he's really not. I think I'm picking up what you're putting down. Maybe. It sounds like we're really building up our, like, what this crime sort of syndicate is. And why the dad's involved with it in the first place. But I don't think I'm quite there yet as far as, like, developing goes. Let's do our character this or that. Let's talk about Samuel and what kind of person he is. Is Samuel a coffee or tea person? I think he's coffee. most likely. What do we think? Coffee? Tea? Probably coffee. He seems like a get up and go type of guy, whereas tea is like this, I don't know, more luxurious. Enjoy your drink. Coffee just sounds like torture, but I'm not a coffee person, but coffee sounds like torture unless you want a green tea. Maybe. He could be very posh. Could be hoping for that green tea. Maybe he could be like, no, I don't drink coffee. And he's like, green tea, please. He's a black coffee guy. Mama's chamomile. I like how specific you're being with our teas here. I like that though. Mama's chamomile. Coffee. Dog person or cat person. He's not an animal person. He's not for the animals. Cat person. Cats take care of themselves. True. Truth. It's more a cat person. They leave you alone. You leave them alone. Morning person or night owl? Probably a night owl. Hence the coffee. Not a morning person. Rainy day or sunny day? Definitely a rainy day. A laid-back antagonist could be coffee, 2 sugars. You're really going in on this coffee tea question. I love it. I love the thought process. Oh shoot. Rainy day. Yeah, he definitely likes the rainy day. What am I? He doesn't get invited to parties when it's raining. True. Okay. What did I do wrong this time? Nothing. Anyways. Pizza with pineapple or without. Yeah, he's pretty strongly against pineapple pizza. I don't know. He could like pizza with pineapple. You know. He's got something about him. Margarita pizza. Yeah. Emo guy Sam is maybe makes edits of him in the rain days, lol. Yeah. We're definitely got a silent brooder on our hands. I won't lie. This is probably the most important question on this list. Do we think he would rather fight 1 horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? He likes the garlic bread the most, though. I like that detail. Here. Oh, shoot. Here or the garlic bread. Okay, we're getting some different views here on whether he would rather fight the 1 duck or the 100 ducks. He would just want to get this thing over it. Duck-sized horses, that's a lot of horses. And ducks aren't that small. You know, like, sure, they're like smaller than you, but they're not like tiny, you know? But 1 horse-sized duck could still be pretty scary. I mean, I guess I'm just kind of talking this out how I would think about it. But how would he think about it? He want to get the thing over with. I feel like he's a bit nervous at heart, so he prefers the smaller ones. He would probably say, that's a stupid question. But if he had to choose one, he would choose the 1. I think he would choose the 1, because I think he likes knowing exactly what's in front of him at one time, you know? But he would probably think that's a stupid question. Talks around the right people. Doesn't get invited to parties. Hence the coffee. Cats take care of themselves. just trying to give more context for the answer. That kind of helps fill in his character for me. Coffee, black, to torture myself. Green tea, as a reward. The difference between 100 and 1 is a lot. Maybe if it was 10 horse-sized ducks. He's a bit stoic and doesn't like wasted time. Yeah, probably. Fancy clothes or comfy hoodie? Ooh, this is a tough one. This is a tough one. Especially like entering at this point in his life. Like he's probably not taking the best care of himself, but I guess the question is more, is he stingy about that kind of stuff, or is he very particular in what he wears? When I think of him, I don't know. Maybe the duck fight question, if anyone asked, he would say, I'd rather put 1 bullet on your foot or 100 on your chest for asking me the most intelligent question. I'd rather put a bullet in your head. I'd rather put a bullet between your eyes. I don't know. He's not... Listen, guys. I think I should make this clear. He's not like... This guy is still relatively young, okay? Like, he's not 50, you know? He's not 20. He's like in his 30s or something. And yes, he's brooding. He is placed in like our modern day context. I do like the over the top, like, I'd rather put a bullet in your head. And maybe that would be some way that like his sister would make fun of him and he's like, I don't talk like that. But I feel like he's more analytical than like that aggression, you know? When I think of him, I think definitely analytical. He has to have less emotions throughout the show, but when there's information so shocking, he can't help but show shock or a bit of fight. Yeah, I mean, I think as it develops, he shows more emotions, and I think his sister brings that out of him a lot as well. He feels like he would only buy at Goodwill, maybe. But I feel like whatever these episodes are where he's like, he is experiencing someone else's feeling, I don't know. I feel like there could be something there, but I definitely get what you're saying. Like, trying to get his vibe. I think he's a comfy hoodie guy. I don't think he cares too much about like I think he's more. Hey, I just don't think he cares, you know, because he doesn't care what others think. You know, like he doesn't care if people think his fashion sense is like, so what for him, you know? Feels like he buys cheap. He doesn't need to pay for value. Exactly. Like if he is this guy who can tell what everyone thinks or feels and therefore doesn't care at all, then like I don't think he's worried too much about what he's gonna wear. Is he a chaos gremlin or control freak? Definite control freak. Not much there. He'd probably be like, are you kidding? Just look at me. Have you seen my sock drawer? Maybe he keeps in those emotions at times without telling anyone and has outbursts of emotional disturbance. Yeah, maybe he has outbursts, and maybe we can explore that emotion more if we do the like flashbacks to the father, or like whatever his imaginative like talking to his father is. Like we could have him be his real self in those moments, you know? Does he write in a journal or does he bottle it all up? Ooh. Now, he's an investigative reporter, as far as we know. We want to play into that, definitely. So I definitely could see that he writes, but I don't think he like actively journals. I think he's probably a bottler, you know? Never texts back or sends 4-paragraph messages. I mean, come on. I write for my job. They don't pay me to put my feelings on paper. You know, something like that. email me. If it's important, email me. Is he an overpacker or a last minute traveler? I don't think those things are mutually exclusive. You can be a last minute overpacker. But I guess it's asking if he plans well or not. I don't know. I definitely wouldn't call him an overpacker. Yeah, he packs perfectly. Like, my go bag is always ready. I'm punctual. I stay on time, bro. I stay on time, bro. Yeah, I don't think either of those really apply, but we'll put like a green on that just because it's like technically better than overpacking. Does he take the lead or does he hang back? He definitely takes the lead. Someone's got to do it, you know. Takes the lead for sure. Does he talk in metaphors or does he blurt it out? He has a travel watch. That's funny. Talks in metaphors or blurts it out. Definitely blurts it out, especially if we're going with this like blunt type of thing. No, I say what needs to be said. No bull. Meme addict or doesn't get memes at all? I don't think he cares about memes. Ask my sister. Yeah. Ask my sister. And also, he's gonna call her his sister even though they're step siblings, you know. Yo, what's up, Noah? Welcome. We are developing our main character, Samuel Reed, as we're calling him right now. Samuel Reed. So far our answers are we're doing this like this or that kind of thing, and so we've given him he's coffee over tea, cat person over dog, night owl over morning, rainy day over sunny, pizza with pineapples. Sorry. Yeah, no, he likes pizza with pineapples over without, but he's here for the garlic bread. Silent brooder over loud talker. He would rather fight one horse-sized duck or over 100 duck-sized horses. He rathers the comfy hoodie over the fancy clothes. He's the control freak over the chaos gremlin. He bottles it all up over writing in a journal. He never texts back. He is really, you know, he's not really a last-minute traveler. He prepares his bag perfect, and then he goes when he needs to. He takes the lead. He blurts it out versus talking in metaphors, and he doesn't get memes. Ask his sister. You've come in just in time for our more morality questions. We're really getting into the morality now of what does he believe, and this is like the start of the story. You know, we're not talking about where's he gonna end up. This is like when we meet him, what's his kind of mentality, you know? He's not on social media and he has no idea. Yeah, I like that. Ask my sister, not on social media. Having a good day. Good. I'm glad you guys are having good days. Definitely justice. He's definitely here for justice over mercy. He's this phone fine. He's just never online. Online humor's not his jam. Movie references every day. No bull. I stick with the classics. It's kind of funny. I stick with the classics. Like LinkedIn. Justice. What's he got to say about justice versus mercy? We're getting into the more kind of psychological, more emotional sort of fields. Justice. Vengeance. For Gotham. Yeah, no, he's still on LinkedIn. He believes in the rule of law. Gosh, I want to rewatch Daredevil so bad now. I haven't watched the new series because I just don't think it's gonna live up to the first one, but I've never watched season 3 of the original Daredevil, and I kind of just want to go back and watch that on LinkedIn. something like that. I believe in the rule of law. Yeah, that's cool. Love or ambition? Now, this is an interesting one because your gut reaction might say ambition, and that's kind of what my gut says. However, like, these two kind of are conflated with each other, especially in his, like, sense of protecting his family sort of thing. This case about his father changes his belief between mercy and justice. Yeah, ambition. I love Daredevil too. Dude, so good. So good. Exactly the type of, like, morality sort of theme that I want to explore here, of, like, that justice versus mercy. And, it's so good. And retribution. Ambition, if you aren't going somewhere important, you're not going anywhere. It does live up to it. I guess I should watch. I probably should. I'll have to check it out. Love or ambition? I mean, he's ambitious, but he does love his family. He does love his father. You know? But maybe where he starts is ambition for the sake of love, you know? But he has to realize that that's not actually love. Check out Black Sad Comments and maybe do, like, the fights. He has an animation style. Let me check that out. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa! Everyone relax. Comics. Oh, this looks cool. Never heard of that. He loves his job more. Yeah, which the idea of the first season, originally we were gonna say, okay, the structure of the first episode was like we introduce with something from later in the season that we come back to, but we establish he's lost his dad and has to move back in with his mom. He is starting to do worse at work until he gets fired. Then he realizes there's this case that his father's linked in, and then he starts this private investigation company with his sister. That was going to be like the structure of the first episode, but now what I'm thinking is that we keep him in his job through the first season, and like he's realizing there's like corruption in his job and stuff, but he is working with his sister, you know, outside of work. And then at the end of the season, as he's like, we're gonna have to keep developing this, that's when he quits his job and he forms the private investigation company with his sister. So that's kind of our season arc as to like where they end up as they're continuing to pursue this. So that playing into the love for his job, that might be something he has to sacrifice by the end of the first season in order to start pursuing a new career from the ground up. Maybe love, then hold close or lose it all, maybe something like that. His job's kind of like a drug. Finding out answers is a must. Yeah, I think that is like a clear character quality of him, is that like he's gonna do these things for love. Like he definitely has a bit of both, for sure. But when push comes to shove, at least at the start, that's where he's gonna have to, you know, kind of rest with that. Sorry, I got distracted there. No, I think he should leave his job first, because then we could really give him that part where he has to cope up for it and then the cause becomes his ego to prove the people who fired him. That is a good thing too. A good thing to think about is you could use it as like fueling the fire of like, yeah, well, screw those guys, I'm gonna do my own thing. Kind of like Miles Morales. But I could also see this thing where we develop whatever company he's at or whatever like news outlet he's at as like a resource for him to go back to and to draw from for a while, and then he starts his private investigator company. But like maybe he has like connections at that place, like he's got a buddy there who can be like his guy in the chair outside of just him and his sister to get those connections. And like, you know, he's like, I'm putting my job on the risk for you. And he's like, I appreciate you, you know, something like that. So anyways, we'll have to determine that as we plot more like the plot points of what's going on in the episode and the season. But at that point, he has to realize where Case is the ambition, not ego. I mean, I think the Case is going to stay the ambition for a while until he realizes that, like, let's say he's pursuing this case the whole time, right? Like the whole show, he is like pursuing this case, and it's wrapped up in these feelings of, I need to find my father. I'm realizing my father is not as good a person as I thought he was, or maybe he is, I don't know. Like all this time. And what if it gets to a spot where it's like, I genuinely believe my dad was doing this for the right reasons. However, following this case means I would have to like put in all this information that I've gotten, all the truth. Like, this is the truth, and my father has done some messy stuff in it. So now he has to decide, is the ambition of the case more important to me than my relationship and connection to my father? Is the truth, quote unquote, the facts, the truth, more important, or what the law and the world sees as the truth, is that more important than the emotion behind it and the reasoning behind it, which only we are going to get to know, but that's not like proved with evidence, you know? I think that could be like a really interesting sort of plot point to follow there, where it's like, whoa. In the end, what is the truth? Do I have to turn in my dad with all the facts I know, or do I base it on what I know without the evidence to back it up, kind of thing? You do like the idea of the season gets to end into the private investigator. It allows the audience to see a day in the life of. Yeah, I just think that like that could be a good hook continuing into like a season 2. Is like, okay, this whole first season was almost like the prologue, and he had to come to terms with, I need to get out of this work thing, and then we can start really diving into like, and it might be necessary anyway, because on one hand, if it is, again, we keep saying if it is this supernatural thing, like, I don't know how his job would react to that. Like, I don't know if they would be like, oh, that's great, we're going to use this for our benefit, or if they're going to be like, I'm sorry, but we can't base our articles off of how you feel when you talk to someone. We can't use that as our evidence. So you're going to have to go somewhere else with that. Like, that could be a thing as well in the end. So to get a better idea of what the world is like before we make all these changes. Yeah. And then once he goes in the private investigator route, he can start exploring more and more what this power is in him, or whatnot, with his sister. I feel like he does the case on his dad because of his dangerous level of curiosity. Like, the more he sniffs around, the more he puts himself in danger. Like Robert Graysmith and Zodiac. Zodiac is a great example as well of the kind of vibe we're looking for here. Because Zodiac has that sense of like, oh, what's going on, and what's the danger here. But that would definitely be like, the further in he goes, the more dangerous it gets. And so the original idea of like, oh, I'm doing this for my family, I'm protecting my family. Now it's like, am I actually protecting my family, or am I doing this because I just want to get to the end? And like, am I actually putting my family in more danger by doing this? Kind of thing, you know? But yeah. Hello, story time. Hope you're having a great one. Maybe at first he doesn't solve his father's case, but opens his own firm and solves cases in the first few episodes, where the case is the backdrop and focus on the struggle of him with his family and father. When his firm is failing, he gets to the father and the murder happens. Yeah, he puts a target on his. It's kind of like the Spider-Man thing, where it's like, you know, your secret identity. It's to protect my loved ones, kind of thing, for him and his family. Yeah, you're thinking down a great thought, Shabstract. Yeah, and to your point, Kay, like, I definitely can see it where, like, if we get to the end of the first season and it's like, oh, we don't have all the answers, maybe we can't solve this case, then maybe we get into like, okay, here's some other cases. Oh, but that leads back into the father. But I think to immediately get the emotion of the show and like why we should care, like, I think we need to start from the place of the father being gone and immediately get into, oh, but is he gone? Or, oh, what is he actually involved in? You know what I mean? Especially in a pilot, like, getting a sense of what's actually going on there. Let's go back to our list. Loyalty or betrayal when it comes to Sam. What did they mean by that? Like, would you rather loyalty or betrayal? Like, I feel like, in what context? Like, if you're just baseline, like, I'm always gonna betray no matter what, like, I don't know, that's a weird one. Loyalty or betrayal? I guess, how loyal is Sam? How loyal is he? I mean, he's got to be super loyal to his family. Depending on the situation, he would choose the case over anyone, even his family. See, maybe, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I feel like at the core of it, his family has to supersede that, even if he gets like sidetracked at some points, or even if he loses sight of what's important. I think he's got, like, he is loyal, you know, but he's loyal to specific people. He's not loyal to like people in general, but he's loyal to who he sees as his people, you know. He gets a lot of threats to make him stop, but he doesn't realize how dangerous it is because he's so focused on finding out the answer. Yeah, something like that. If solving the case demands to be bad, so if the solving case demands to be bad, so be it, is his mantra. Yeah, he's got some sort of mantra. Sacrifice or survival? Another weird one. Because I feel like depends on the context. Like, what do you mean by that? Sacrifice or survival? Like, would I rather sacrifice for myself, or would I rather survive? Yeah, he's lived with very little. Yeah, I think he's always in like fight or flight. And we talked about how, like, don't be a hero kind of thing. Yeah. You would say sacrifice? See, I think this plays more into like the don't be a hero. Like, you gotta survive kind of thing. Truth or happiness? I think that one's pretty obvious. Definite truth. The truth will set you free. Power or freedom? That's a weird one as well. These are interesting because they're not like exact opposites, you know. He learns to be a hero by the end, and maybe releases the hero doesn't mean show off. Yeah, I think this is definitely like an arc that we're gonna see him change. Oh, where'd it go? Power or freedom? Would you rather have power, or would you rather have freedom? He thinks analytically and rationally. Due to that, depending on the situation, it can be sacrifice or survival. Yeah, don't be a hero. Depends on the situation. Freedom, maybe. Feel like he could go either way. Freedom's what he's fighting for. Yeah. He already has power, And honestly, he probably resents it a little bit. So he would know to be like, actually, power's not all it's cracked up to be. Like, power's not all it's cracked up to be. Like, he has access to a power, and he would probably rather freedom than have that power in him, even if he uses it to his advantage. Security or risk? Is he willing to take big risks? Probably. Would he prefer security? I don't know. If it's at like the cost of the truth, then maybe not. Maybe a fear idea, power steals more than it gives. Ooh. Wait, good link back to our previous conversation. A fear idea, being a father, further loss, abuse of power. Like, he could be afraid of that in the world, but also in himself. Like, let's say this is like a point of tension and conversation for others in him, is like, you know, what do you do with this power, and how come you get this? And he's kind of afraid, like, or where does your power come from? And he's like, I don't know. And it probably honestly scares him, the fact that he can do this. And so he's afraid of it becoming more in himself. But then as he dives deeper into it, he's like, he sees the potential more and more for it to be like, oh, I can actually like really use this, you know, in some crazy ways. It could be a cool theme to follow. Security, but he's still willing to risk if it's the only way. Yeah, I would say security, just in the sense that I think his sister is probably going to be the more risk taker and the carefree one. Like, I don't think his sister should be the complete opposite of all of these, because, you know, they still grew up together. Like, I think she should be his antithesis. Is that the right word? Be his, like, not foil, but kind of like basically his, you know, opposites attract. I think she should in some situations, and in this situation I feel like she's more the risk taker. Security, don't take unnecessary risks, because that also plays into like his fear of loss. I think risk for the job, security for the family. I like that. Yeah. Risk or security, I guess what's best for the case. I guess lots of questions are just what he does and the benefit of the case. And maybe the powers come and go, so now he wants to find the source of power because he's afraid he might lose it, and it would be more fearful when he's abusing power. Yeah, that could be a cool thing, especially if he's like, if that's an unknown to him, as well as like, I don't really control it. Like, sometimes, maybe it's not like every time he touches someone, but it's just like sometimes when I'm like close with someone, or sometimes like, okay, let's say on the whole, generally, he's more of like a Sherlock, right? He is able to identify the facts and really quickly put together what's happening in a person. He's got that perceptiveness. What's that called? What do we say? High empathetic accuracy or perceptiveness. But sometimes when it's like there should be no way you could know anything about a person, he gets these random like prophetic moments where it's like, whoa, like I don't know where that came from. I can't control it. So maybe he could also, like, along with searching for his father, he's trying to search for that in himself. Oh, dude, you know what I just thought of too? It would be so cool if, like, in following that, you also had that with his son, you know? Like, the son also has some sort of ability along with it, you know? Again, not immediately, but eventually. But I do like the idea of, like, searching for source of power. Not controlled very well. Yeah. Does his sister show more love to him than he does to her? Good question. I think definitely yes. I think this is definitely, if you've seen Severance, I think this is definitely like not one-to-one, but similar to Mark and Devin's relationship, where she's the one looking out for him more so, and she just knows how to kind of put up with his crap, and she doesn't kind of revere him like everyone. She doesn't see him as this like, oh, whoa, you're this super cool investigator. Like, to her, he's just her brother, you know, and she's gonna love him regardless. The source of power is unknown and could connect to the father's case. Not controlled very well. I like that. I like tying it up in like a bow like that, where it's like you have all these pieces that seem disconnected, but then they actually are connected. How would someone who is scared of abusive power and is ambitious, would he be obedience or rebellion? Good question. The power could activate at flashes. He sees something. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is like these visions kind of things. You think he shows less love to his sister on face, but he actually loves his sister more in more subtle ways. Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those situations where it's like, you know, like a I hate you, but deep down, like he would die for her or something, you know. But when it comes to like the actual being there for her and like, or being there for each other and stepping out, he's probably less good about that, you know. Is it like the relationship between Carmi and his sister in The Bear? I have not seen The Bear, I'm sorry, but I will, whenever I watch it, I'll get back to you on that. Obedience or rebellion? Yeah, that's a good question. We did talk about how with this, we kind of have this, I mean, Daredevil-esque, but we have this kind of, this backdrop of his mother having religious roots, and like when she sees him, she kind of bases it in like God's given you like this God-given gift, and so he kind of rebels against that, I would say, and he doesn't know if he believes in that, but when these unexplainable things happens, he doesn't know what to believe. But I'd definitely say he's more like on the rebellion side, where it's like, I don't know, I'm not part of your system. I don't know. Rebellion when he sees fit, but you're basing this guy on Daredevil. I mean, I am too in a lot of senses, and I'm trying to be careful, but at the same time, it's good to pull from like the characters we really like care about. You're leaning towards obedience, listen to the law, but doesn't want the power himself. He is afraid that he will hurt more or abuse it. Kind of going into like a Captain America Civil War situation where Iron Man is, you know, you would think he would be the rebellious one, but he sees the danger of that they've caused, and so he's more willing to go under the government, where Cap is the one who's like rebelling. Maybe he has a superhero complex where he thinks of himself as a savior in everyone's problems, which makes him become a police in the first place. Yeah, I don't know if I want him to be a police or like an investigative journalist kind of thing, like a reporter. Yeah, this is a murky one. Like, I don't think it's like completely one way or the other. So maybe like obedience to the law and facts, but rebels from what he doesn't understand, you know? Something like that. Would he rather protect the innocent or punish the guilty? Again, I don't think these are like mutually exclusive necessarily, but protect the innocent or punish the guilty. Probably punish the guilty, honestly. Like, I think he's more on this side of it. Like, I think he keeps, yeah, just to keep some difference between Matt Murdock. No, I definitely think he punishes the guilty. and because he sees the evil in people, so he judges them on first glance and doesn't give a second chance. Didn't mean to make that rhyme, but it did, so that's cool. Maybe he thinks the police are corrupt, and so he wants to go an investigation. Yeah, we'll probably get there. Punish the guilty would come first in his mind. Yeah, I agree. I think he probably thinks, like, if you punish the guilty, then the innocent will be protected, but you gotta punish the guilty first. Yeah. Yeah, he has some disdain for someone because of his father. For sure. Also, I'm gonna have to move this again. Son of a gun. Why is it so weird? There it is. Dude, I gotta watch The Bear. I know. Has a few similarities. The watch list only gets longer. You know what I'm saying? I've got like 1,000 things on my list. So much to watch, so little time. But that's the crazy thing about good art, right? Is that it makes you want to watch other art, and it makes you want to take it and make it your own, you know? Because even if I set out to be like, I want to make Daredevil, like I want to make my version of Daredevil, even if I copied it like to a T, I mean, obviously someone would probably be like, dude, that's literally just Daredevil, but no one's gonna like write it or direct it or make it the way you would, you know? No one's gonna see it through your eyes. Yeah, steal like an artist, 100%. I think he believes in fate, but in the way that things happen to you and you can't do anything about it. His family dies around him, he can't do anything to save himself. Interesting. You're talking about fate or free will here. I like that thinking of fate being less of like, this is my destiny, but more being like, you know, stuff happens, and you can't deal with it. Because if he believed in free will more so, then he would believe more that people could be redeemed, and like he probably believes in fate in the sense that, like, I'm gonna do this, like you were saying, like shit happens and you gotta deal. Fate is his hell. I like that line. And you gotta deal. People don't change. I don't know, something like that. Maybe he doesn't see this as innocent people. Well, that's the thing, is this idea of innocence. Like, he doesn't really... It's tapestry. Stop quoting Daredevil at me, okay? I get it. I need to watch the rest of the show, and this is a similar idea. Yes, we only see it. I get it. It's abstract. I understand. Yes, it is a lot of similarities, but that's a good thing because we like Daredevil. Okay. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, this idea of innocent. I don't think he sees people as innocent. I don't think he thinks there are any innocent people, you know? Fate. I know. It's so hard. He has to learn to see them more than a case number. Yeah. Would you rather hide your secret or confess and lose everything? Well, I know his mom's answer is hide your secret. I think he's more on this side, honestly. And the reason why is, again, his bluntness. Like, you know, the truth is the truth. You can't help the fallout. Or you can't help how it affects people. Which is not something I believe, but I can see him thinking that. Though to an extent, I guess I do believe it. But, you know, not as black and white as yes or no, this or that, you know. Would you rather help an enemy or abandon them? Probably abandon, right? He's probably abandoning them. I don't think he cares to help an enemy. Yeah, definitely. Got bigger fish to fry. Save a friend or complete the mission. Again, really depends on who the friend is and what the mission is. But his gut instinct is probably to complete the mission, you know? Like, and again, this is where he's starting, not necessarily where he's ending. I think he has a lot of place to grow from this, you know? But he's probably complete the mission. If we fail the mission, what was the point? Be feared. He'd rather be feared because he knows his father was loved and it didn't end well. Ooh, I like that thinking. He'd rather be feared because his father was loved. Or I guess I should say, my father was loved, and look where that got him. Complete mission dangerous. Curiosity that spoils his relationship. Yeah, complete the mission. Curiosity is a lifeline. Yeah. Be feared. My father was loved, and look where that got him. Yeah, the interesting thing here is going to be making this character likable still and redeemable, because we're really painting him as this jaded, I don't have hope in humanity kind of thing, but we still need to make him empathetic and still want it so that people care about this guy and are like, you know, like I can still see myself in him even though he's taken it to an extreme. Like I can relate to him in he's lost someone and struggles to see good in people, you know, because you don't want to make a completely unredeemable character, because then it's like I don't care if he gets what he wants or not, you know, like he can't be a complete jerk in every front, unless you lean into it and do it really well. But I don't want to make him a complete jerk on every front. Kill to survive or die with honor. You say kill to survive because then you can be there for his family, and his father died with honor. Yes, he feels his father abandoned him. He doesn't want to obey it. Yeah, honestly, I think you're right. I think you're probably right, because honor serves nothing and nobody. I'm just trying to think of I'm writing down these like one-liners. That's like, imagine every time he says one of these, he like walks away from the scene, which this is a thing that only happens in like TV and movies, but like I can imagine him being really brooding, being like, would you rather be feared or be loved? My father was loved, and look where that got him. You know, like he just, I imagine he walks directly out of frame, like, well, I don't know, man. Would you rather die with honor or kill to survive? Honor serves nothing and nobody. I just, every single one of these, like, he's some kind of comic book, like, hey, are you gonna help this enemy? Or are you just gonna abandon them? I've got bigger fish to fry. Credits. Credits. That being said, we are on our, oh my dear goodness, what has happened here? Okay. We are on our last question of our list here, which is, would you rather follow the law or follow your conscience? Big time question in here. Maybe he's like Russ from True Detective. Maybe, yeah. Maybe we just get Matthew McConaughey or Woody Harrelson in here to clean it up, make it exactly what we need it to be. Would you rather follow the law or follow your conscience? Ooh, you say conscience. That's him. That's picturing him like Rorschach from Watchmen. Yeah, he's literally, if we can make him that caricature and be like, the truth will set you free. Power's not all it's cracked up to be. You know, like he's completely noir and completely all the way gone. That would be really funny though. We just have a cut episode where he just like says these one-liners and walks into a different room, talks to someone else, says it again, loses it. Yeah, I mean, that over the top noir is a lot of fun. Yeah, it's just how far gone is this guy is my question. We got some conflict here. Some are saying consciousness, others are saying follow the law, because at first he just wants to solve cases, but then he has to learn to fight for people, and then his powers are more controllable. I like where we're going with that. See, what do we say here? For obedience or rebellion, we said kind of both, like obedience to the law and facts, but rebels from what he doesn't understand. Like, I feel like, honestly, going along with like, I don't care what others think, I think he's more follow your conscience. If, you know, and again, I think he follows the law to an extent. I think he cares about the rules and the facts and the laws, but I think, you know, you got to do you in the end is his kind of mentality. Yeah, I think we got a lot of really good, like filling in the gaps here with this guy. 'Cause we got a lot of like fun details and a lot of like morality details that I think are going to play really well into his arc in the end, and who he's going to start as and who he's going to end up as. We also had some good story ideas here for like, you know, talking to his dad in his mind and in his flashbacks, you know, kind of like Uncle Ben, kind of questioning as he dives further in, did dad go in for heroic reasons or evil reasons? And as he goes deeper, it's going to get more dangerous for him and his family. He's going to be putting his family at risk. And then in the end, what is the truth? Like, do you turn in your dad with all the facts you know, or do you base it on what you know without the evidence to back it up? Does his sister eventually get some sort of powers? What are his powers? Because he's searching for that, but it's connected to the father's case, maybe. The mother's holding a secret, dad's leaving breadcrumbs, and it's just not very controlled. His conscience to him is always as the law, but better. Yeah, like, he really is a trust yourself kind of guy. It does make sense. He's not kind, but he believes if you worry all the time about how you look in the eyes of others, you're never anything yourself. Yeah, like, you know, he's got values that help him get through life, you know, like he wants to be right. He wants the answers and to raise his son well, whatnot. But that's all like, that's for him, you know, it's not for someone else. And he doesn't care what others think. He is great at reading people. He's blunt. He's got a sweet tooth, which we established. And he's able to connect emotionally with people when he gets close to them. But the more distance he is from people, the harder it is to kind of break that mold. Ever since he either was separated or lost his wife. Yeah, all good questions still of like how dark we want to make this. Like, how far is his wife out of the picture? Is she gone? Is she another loss? And obviously this is all stuff that we'll have to hone in on. Yeah, what I'm thinking is that for the rest of this stream, because we've gotten a lot of progress on developing Sam. That's great. I think what we do for maybe for the sweet tooth, he likes a specific chocolate because of his father. That's sweet. That's really sweet. No pun intended. I think what we do for the rest of this stream is we try to brainstorm some good names for the rest of our characters, because I don't want to keep calling them sister and son and father and pastor friend. So I say we brainstorm some names for a little bit. We read a few more chapters of our book here, Sense and Sensibility, if you want to stick around for that. But yeah, we start cracking down on that, and then the next stream, I say that we start honing in on the plot points. Either we'll start honing in on plot points, or we'll start filling in. Maybe we'll fill in the gaps for the rest of the characters, because I think we want all of our characters to be really developed. I think obviously the protagonist we are going to keep spending the most time on because he's our protagonist, but maybe we'll start filling in the character traits and how these guys play into it. That way we can eventually get into, okay, let's start plotting. Here's our plot points. Here's what we want to actually happen. And then now we know how they're probably going to react in these situations, what makes sense. You did mention a name last time as the possible son name. I believe it was Hudson, which I like as a name for a young son. I do want to look up what Hudson means, because, the meanings of names can be a helpful sort of way to do it. But what's the ethnicity? I don't know. I don't have one super in mind right now. And I think that will definitely play into his character and how he sees the world. I mean, 100%. I mean, if we're going based off of the random name that I gave it him, then, Samuel could be, I suppose, a number of ethnicities. It doesn't really pertain necessarily to one, but anywho, yeah, it's a good question. What's his sister's name? We got Sam, and we got Nadia is a pretty name. I do like that. No. You gotta leave. Hey, thanks for joining in, Shabstract. You brought a lot of awesome ideas to the table, and I hope you got to see some of them hit the page. Yeah, you have a good one. Go eat something good wherever you are. I don't know what time it is for you, but you seem hungry, so go check that out. Nadia, stepmother. Farewell. What, instead of doing it like that, what if we just did, oh my gosh, this is a nightmare, this thing. Okay. Can we just, can can I take all of you and shoop and put you down here? There we go. And then for you, go like shoop. And then name brainstorm. For stepmother Evelyn, naming desired island wish for. Evelyn's not bad. Name brainstorm. Nadia, Hudson, Evelyn, Marcus, Bastion. Bastion's more like a dog's name, right? Or a pet name. Bastion's kind of an epic name, though. Not gonna lie. Porcupine. Helicopter. Swiss cheese. Anyone? No? Bucky's? Bucky's? How about Buck? Chip. Joanne. Michael Flanagan, what are you doing here? Christopher Nolan, what are you doing here? Yeah, we could have placeholder names also. We don't have to lock it in. Samuel Reed. Sam Reed. No names that mean secret. What about names that mean helicopter? Just saying. Weird names. Oh, I typed in weird names and it gave me this. I think we've got our stepmother's name. She is that. She is a Word has no suggestions for what this is, but that could be it. Fun names. Harley Quinn. Yay! The Joker. What did you say Nadia meant again? Nadia meaning... It is Arabic, Slavic, means delicate, fragile, hope. Honestly, I like Nadia more as the stepmother's name, if I'm gonna be real. Like, her name being Nadia. Because when I think of the personality of the stepsister, I know it mostly means hope, but I wouldn't call the stepsister delicate and fragile. I don't know if I would call the stepmother delicate and fragile either. And again, it's just the name doesn't have to mean entirely what the name means, you know? Like, we're not... Oh gosh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? We're not sitting by that strictly, but Nadia is a pretty name for someone's mom. And I'm trying to think what their last name would be, because, I mean, I guess they could have changed their name to Reed, but, like, if she had a maiden name that she kept because she was already in a relationship and then, you know, coming into another one, like, Coombs, Nadia Kowalski. Status report. Gaming text, you said Maria, meaning of the sea, bitter, beloved, or rebellious. Ritter? Oh, writer? It's the writer and the readers. The writers and the readers, yeah. Nadia Scribo. Maria. That's so funny. Name variations. What are variations of the name Maria? Marie, or Mary, Marie. We could go full Breaking Bad, call Marie. What does Marie mean? Marie meaning means star of the sea, wished for child, rebellious. So it sounds similar to the to Maria. I do like Marie as a name. Marie or Miriam. I mean, if we're going like full Arabic, though I guess Nadia is also like an Arabic name. Arabic. Yeah, Marie's pretty. That's not what I meant to search. Nadia, meaning or origin, I should say. Slavic and Arabic. In its Slavic form, Nadia is derived from the Russian name Nadezhda, meaning hope in Arabic. Slavic origin, Arabic origin. In Arabic, Nadia means tender or delicate. That's sweet. It is also related to the Arabic word Nadia, which means to hope, which I like for the stepmother, because the stepmother, I think, is going to have this vibe of like, I believe he's still alive. Like, she might not say it because she might know it, but she's going to be holding on to hope for the husband. So I do like that for Nadia. And then if we keep that, like, having an origin of that, like, she could go by Mary. She could go by Mary, but her full name could be Miriam, kind of thing, you know? Oh, my music just died on me. This is the word writer translated into Slovak, spisovatel. What about into Arabic? Do 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 do. Miriam. Al-Khatib. Alka. Last name. Potential origins in Sanskrit. Miriam is a very old-fashioned name, though. Like, is Miriam a popular name? I don't think so. I think Miriam is a... Read last name origins. Like, I'm feeling like the names do a bit of merging. Octovers, something like that. Tover, last name. The surname Tovar is of Spanish origin. Oh, so it's Nadia and Maria. Tovar. Tover. Charleston's. Could be something. I don't know. If we're going down the path where like her mom's name's Nadia and like her daughter's name's Miriam, but she goes by Mary. Like, could that mean that they're like Jewish in origin? I don't know. 'Cause that means that the mother's, I mean, it wouldn't have to necessarily be like this. She could be a Messianic Jew, which basically means that you're Jewish in culture, but you believe in, you still believe in Christ. Let me make sure I'm right in that. Yeah, it combines Jewish cultural identity, but practices the belief still of Jesus. So either way, like they could be Jewish, or they could be, you know, Jewish in culture, I should say. And then they marry into the Reed family, who is just, you know, English in nature. Mariam, but she goes by Mary or Mare. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what like a cute nickname could be between the two. Sam and Mare. That's kind of cute. Sam and Mare. And Mare's like that's like a horse, right? Mare. Yeah. Not to call her a horse, but she could be a cute little nickname like Mare. Yeah. Good evening, Max. We're just brainstorming names right now for the family. Searched up common Jewish last names. Friedman, Aronson, Benowitz, and Epstein. Maybe we shift away from Epstein. Just for my sake, for you know, for posterity. But a cool Jewish last name, Cohen could be one. What is Aaron last name? Primarily a Hebrew origin. Jewish surname derived from the given name Aaron. Aaron's. I don't know if Nadia Aaron pulls off the tongue. I think Miriam Aaron does, but Benowitz last name. Schwartz sounds similar also. Oh, Owitz is a Germanized form of the East Slavic patronymic ending Ovich. What about Benovich? Benovich. Last name. Aaron Yeager. Interesting. I mean, Benowitz could be good. The moves like Jagger. Guys, I think we're getting off track here. Patronymic form. Benjamin. Nadia Benowitz. Let's keep it there for now. Miriam Benowitz. The Benowitzes and the Reeds came together. Yes. I like Benowitz. And then Hudson could be nice. Like, I can see a world where, like, you know, maybe they named Sam after something biblical, but Sam doesn't necessarily like worry about that. So like Hudson and Hudson means like son of Hud, but Hud as a name means bravery and leadership. So I like that. Hudson Reed. Sounds like a strong name. What's his father's name? And I think once we get the father, we can call it there and just read our book. But I just like I like having a sense of like being able to call these guys something other than just father, boy, son, step, sister. Yeah. Elijah, Eli. I mean, if we're really pulling from, I mean, we have been pulling from pretty biblical names, to be fair. Elijah and Samuel is pretty, like, pretty on the nose, right? Or not. Who was Samuel's, like, father figure? Was it Eli? Was it Eli? If his name is Noah, can he have a crazy arc? Wow. You did it. You made the perfect joke. Woo! Wow. No, I quite like that. That was wonderful. Who is Samuel's father figure? Eli. Yeah, so Eli was the name of, in the Bible, who kind of led up Samuel under him, but Noah. Smarkus. His name's Smarkus. What about his father named Benjamin, but he goes by Ben? The only thing about that, I mean, I like Ben as a name, is their last name is a direct derivative of the name Benjamin. And it'd be kind of a weird coincidence that this Ben married into this family of other Bens. I mean, maybe not, but Benjamin Reed is a strong name also. Striker. Striker. Parker. Peter Parker. Peter. Thomas Reed. What does Thomas mean? Thomas, name, meaning. Thomas means twin. Oh. Are we saying that he's gonna be twin? Daniel? What does Daniel mean again? Does it mean like of God? God is my judge. That's right. Daniel Reed. Dan Reed. That's kind of cool. Daniel and Samuel. Dan and Sam. I don't hate that. And I kind of like that, the name being like God is my judge, because it's kind of like with this conflict of like, is he a good guy or not? Like, the answer is in his name. God is my witness, you know, God's the only one that knows. Feels like it could be lined with his arc also being maybe good or bad. Yeah, exactly. Okay, I feel better about this. I definitely want to explore more with the Benowitz, the implications that has with like their ethnicity or their culture. You know, I'm gonna do my research, but I do like the direction we're going here, and I like that I feels like we're fleshing out Samuel a little more and more as we go. Which is great. I am super happy about that. Wonderful job, everyone. That was a good long brainstorm sesh, but I think we got a lot done. Now for these last 20 minutes or so, I'm going to continue reading from our book, Sense and Sensibility. We are currently about to go into chapter 8. Yes, everyone, round of applause. Everyone should be super happy with themselves for all that we've accomplished today. We did a lot, which is awesome. So now let's cool it down. Let's go ahead and read through this wonderful story and see what is going on with the girls, Marianne and Eleanor, I believe. Let's go. Yes, let's go. We don't make mistakes, only happy accidents. Oh, I played that as soon as my music and everything turned off. Great. Restart. I gotta restart that so often. Oh, is it coming through? Doesn't seem to be. Hello? Hello? Nope. Well, that decided to stop working altogether. That's just not